History isn't just what happened, it's who we are. And now you can explore Africa's incredible past like never before. Introducing the new and engaging course catalog from aelearning.net, a world-class provider of interactive e-learning focused on Africa's rich and diverse history. From the rise of ancient Nubia and the power of the Mali Empire, to the architectural wonders of Egypt and the development of astrological knowledge by the Dogon people, each self-paced course brings history to life through stunning visuals, immersive video lessons, and interactive assessments. Designed for students, educators, and lifelong learners around the world, AE Learning's courses make discovering Africa's story easier, deeper, and more engaging than ever. With AE Learning, education meets flexibility. Whether you're a student, teacher, or lifelong learner, our platform gives you access to credible knowledge, rich multimedia lessons, and tools that make learning African history engaging and unforgettable. Join thousands of learners already rediscovering Africa's past and shaping its future. Visit www.aelearning.net today. Start your journey through Africa's past today, because the story of Africa is the story of us all. AE Learning, inspiration through high-quality education.
Danfo offers unparalleled, curated, and bespoke tours across Africa for travelers seeking genuine cultural experiences, enriched with magnificent sights, sounds, and flavors found on the continent. Each trip is reliably curated to ensure visitors are gifted with an immersive and authentic adventure. Whether you find yourself strolling along the charming white sand beaches of Sierra Leone, feasting on the mouth-watering delicious foods in Senegal, observing or partaking in various aspects of the Isheshi traditional system Ifa native to Yoruba land, Nigeria, with Danfo, you will rediscover a fulfilling sense of kinship to the true heart of the motherland, her communities. Our core values focus on integrity, quality, safety, and sustainability. We are uniquely committed to assisting with the advancement of African infrastructure and promoting African businesses, so both travelers and the communities they visit receive beneficial exchanges. At Danfo, we understand the importance of connectivity, and we have created a model which provides bespoke experiences based on your passions or hobbies. With us, expect a long-lasting spiritual bond between you and your destinations. Live, love, Danfo, Africa. To learn more, visit danfo.africa.
Peace, family. We are live. Oh, hold on. We are live again. Dynasty Mirror Search for Huru. Thank you all. Thank you so much for joining. Hit that like button and please hit that like button. Also, make sure you share and make sure you subscribe. I will greatly appreciate it. Got a couple of announcements. We are rolling to Senegal next month, man. Just we're about 30 days out, 31 days out. Today's April 8th. We're rolling April 9th. If you're interested in joining us, please visit danfo.africa. Again, if you're interested in joining us, please visit Danfo. That's DANFO.Africa to learn more. We're also rolling to Nigeria in August for the Oshun Festival. Where else are we going? Zanzibar in September for Safari Blue. And then we're doing Ghana, Ivory Coast, and Sierra Leone in November. And then Benin in January for the Voodoo Festival. Again, if you're interested in joining us, please visit danfo.africa to learn more. What is this? Where I get this from? Okay, well, we'll figure it out. I don't know where I got this from. Stone cakes. Okay. Gourmet vegan cheese. Oh, okay. I remember that. That was that Slutty Vegan. That's right. Yeah, so that's what's up. That's what's going on. Greetings to everybody in the chat room. Yeah, we're going to continue this topic on the AES and Ibrahim Traore. Listen, I want the AES to win. I really do. All right. I want Traore to win. I want Mali to take care of the jihadi uh, situation in Mali, really all over the AES, and include Nigeria, northern Nigeria as well. We got a jihadi issue in northern jihadi insurgency. Um bro, democracy is overrated. Okay, let's leave the term out of it, okay? Let's leave the term democracy. I think that's the problem. Let's leave the term out of it, all right? Love what Johore is doing. Love what he's saying. The problem I have, the only issue I have, okay? Two issues that I have. All right. Is number one, and my brother, shout out to Dwayne Wong. He's been on the show a couple times. And he brings up a great point. I mean, in fact, let's share the screen. He brings up a great point. Let's leave the term democracy out of it because that triggers a lot of people. All right. This is my only issue. Ibrahim Traore's original objective. Make sure you guys follow, if you are the ex Dwayne Wong, Dwayne Omowale. Ibrahim Traore's original objective was to secure Burkina Faso and oversee a return to civilian rule. The goal should not be to fight or dismantle democracy in Burkina Faso, but to establish a truly democratic system that represents the masses of Burkina Faso. I hope that Traore is not losing sight of the original objective. So again, let's go back to elections. Let's go back to elections were supposed to be held. He canceled them. And the reasoning before the elections being canceled was that the people said that they didn't want elections. And then all I'm asking, okay, all I question before you guys beat me up. All right, I ain't hating on the AES, I ain't hating on Johore. All I questioned was these folks that said they wanted Traore still in power and they didn't want to hold the elections. Was that brought to a ballot? Was that voted on? Was there a, hey guys, we're going to vote to see if we should have elections? That's all I asked. Now, the votes come back, they say, hey, let's not have the elections. All right, good. Go. Let's roll with it. But that's all I asked. Was there how did you come to the decision that you did not want to have the election? That's all I'm asking. Much of the support that Traore enjoys is because Africans around the world are excited to see a leader with an anti-imperialist pan-African vision who is developing locally controlled industries. But as I pointed out last month, there are some contradictions within the AES that need to be resolved in order for that effort to be truly successful. Let's read some of these comics. It's not that democracy is the solution, but the solution has to be democratic in some form. Africa has had decades of trying to build political institutions around individual leaders. The result has always been that the leader betrays the people or the system collapses when the leader leaves. Let's see here. Dwayne made some more comments on here, and I'm trying to find. But guys, I'll put the link in the chat room. That's all. That's all. Yeah, before you attack me and come after me and try to shoot me down and call me a CIA agent, just hear me out. Just hear me out. But links in the chat room. Hey, if you disagree, you're more than welcome to call in and say, "Hey, I disagree." Again, if you disagree, you're more than welcome to say, "Hey, I disagree with you." Okay, here's another one. Once again, Traore is the one who stated that he wants civilians rule. You keep trying to shift the conversation back to me when I already explained what I want. You're trying to force me into the box of Western style democracy because you seem to think that's the only form of democracy which exists. So basically, the same thing that every African leader claims. Most African leaders don't outwardly claim to be neo-colonial puppets, but most of them try to portray themselves in a positive light. Sakar's ideological vision was very clearly defined, but Johore's anti-imperial vision has always been more broad. As a result, we get contradicting results, such as him kicking the French out of Burkina Faso, but then signing over his country's healthcare data to the U.S. Okay. Historically speaking, African countries with civilian rule have fared significantly better than ones under military rule. Johore himself seemed to recognize this at first because he did promise a return to civilian rule. Military rule isn't a long-term solution for any African nation. It always ends the same way. All right, man. Say, go ahead.
Yeah, I was how you doing? How's everything? Peace and love to the
Good. How are
family.
you?
I'm good, brother. I was just saying that like even if they goes into return back to democracy, Mali tried that and then they still had the same problems. So in order for you to return to democracy or whatever form of government you want to run, you have to clear the corruption, you have to clear the insurgency, you have to have a stable economy. Without that, you're gonna have the same problem. Yeah, that's what happened back in was it 2015, 2016 when Blaise Compaoré got overthrown. They had a transitional government and went back to democratic rule, and then their insurgency went back up again. And then it was to the point when the other guy in 2020, I forgot his name, Christian Compaoré, got overthrown.
Okay.
So they gotta, do a lot of restructuring. I mean, I'm not like I said, I'm not too sure exactly how they're gonna run their government, but they're working on it. And then when IB did go into office, when he said, "All right, I'm gonna do 2 years, I'm gonna step down," people was like, "Nah, we want you to extend it."
Yeah, but again, who's the people?
The
And was it
young
brought
because you
and
the
was it
young
brought to
the
a vote? And that's my thing. Was it brought to a vote?
Yeah, but the thing is that Dynast, like, why is it that China has a one party system? Their government is running fine. The Middle East has monarchs, whatever, they're running
Yeah,
fine. But
but
for some
China's one party system is corrupt.
No, I'm not. I mean,
I
everybody's
mean,
gonna
come
have
on,
their
you
form of
can't use China as
corruption.
an example. I mean,
But I'm saying,
whenever opposition leader comes about, they disappear in China. They disappear.
but okay. So this granted, if you say that though, but how's their economy? They are one of they have one of the most what's his face manufacturing in the world. Damn near everybody get their products from China, so they must be doing something right, right?
Right.
Not saying
So
it's perfect,
man, say what needs to happen. All right. This is what needs to happen. Then Johori needs to come out and just say, "Hey, listen, I'm the HNIC. We not doing no voting, none of that. I'm taking over. Just come out and say it."
Yeah, but I don't think the way he is as a person. I don't think he's going to do that and just say, "Hey,
But
I'm
see,
just
but
going to
see
go
that,
take
but
a."
see that's the problem, man. Sake. On one end, you're saying you want a democratic system, civilian rule. We're gonna have elections, but then you get rid of the opposing parties. You know, you're saying we're not gonna have elections because the people, in quotation marks, said that they want me in power. Then you guys bring up China, and so I'm just saying, listen, we just gonna run it. You know, I'm in power. I'm military ruler. That's it.
I mean, the reason why I think that's not going to happen because like the guy studied history, right? He studied J.J. Rawlings. You seen what happened when J.J. Rawlings, for example, in Ghana, he ruled from 1980 from 1999. He was isolated, so he had issues. Sekou Toure from Guinea also had issues. So they both were isolated. That's the number one reason why the AES came together. So that foundation doesn't lay on one person. It has to have a system. Even if something happens today to him, or he steps down, the system keeps running. It has to precede everyone else. So that's
Okay,
why
so
they
you
have these. No, go ahead.
no, but again, just just come out and say it then. You know, instead of preaching democracy and you know, we're gonna have an election and civilian rule and
I
just
mean, we're
come to
gonna. I mean, let's see in 5 years and see what happens. I mean, like they're getting majority of their territory back. They are creating a lot of jobs. They're building the roads. So they're doing a lot of things that usually takes years at a fast pace. So I mean, I gotta give him credit. I mean, if he wasn't doing the work, the people would have got upset or just overthrew him if he wasn't doing the work.
Exactly.
all
So
right.
that's what I'm saying. That even like what, for example, right when they attempted to overthrow him in January, did you see all those people that came out the street? You have people who are volunteering to sleep by the palace to protect this guy, even though they don't have no arms, no nothing, willing to sacrifice their life.
I understand that. So all I'm saying is just say, hey guys, we're reversing course. All this democracy, civilian rule, you know, elections. We're not doing it. I'm in power until further notice. That's all I'm saying.
I understand, but I mean, I'm just
He
saying,
said, he
let's see
said
what
that.
happened after. I'm just saying, let's see what happened after 5 years because Assimi Goita, General Tiani, and IB, all of them extended their terms for 5 years, and let's just see what happens. That's all I gotta say.
All right, go ahead, Principe.
What's up? What's up, Dinus? Salute to you.
Peace.
Salute to the panel. Um, salute to Defakari Desalegn, but this is why I disagree with him, and I feel like you are correct in questioning what he's doing. But where you're wrong is that overall, even in America, George Washington ruled for 8 years as a military leader. Then he ruled 8 years again as a presidential leader, right? So that's 16 years altogether, right? So um, you a lot of people kind of are not putting into context that Burkina is like revamping the government to reevaluate and deal with the world under these new terms and these new situations. So they're basically need a solid foundation. And he's trying to set the foundation similar to George Washington. As a person who is Haitian, of Haitian descent, um, one of the major issues that came about in Haiti is that Haiti was hyper isolated for
So, if
almost.
you, Principe, if you don't mind me asking, so are you saying George Washington was never elected?
No. He was elected by Congress. He was elected by the people, whatever. But as a military leader, he was elected by Congress, right? So similar to the situation of Ibrahim Traore, he took over by a coup, right, removing the entity of power, similar to how America removed France, not France, removed England, right, from power, and he so under the military rule or under the war, he ruled for 8 years. Then after 8 years, he ruled as president for 8 more years. That's 16 years in power. It's 16 years in leadership. And America is one of the foremost, most powerful nations in the world. So why do you feel that it's good for America, but not good for Burkina?
Say that one more time. Well, for what?
George Washington ruled for 16 years. He was the leader of America. He set the
Yeah,
foundation of America for 16 years.
he was elected.
He took over, right? The people basically voted him as Congress voted him as the head of the Revolutionary Army, not the general people. And then upon the end of revolution, he was voted whatever system they had at the time as a leader by the people, right? But he ruled for 8 years before he was even ruled as a president. So you're saying that the foundation of America is one of the greatest, strongest nations on the earth, and their leader was there for 16 years to formate and create the foundation of America, along with the other forefathers and every other influencer and different aristocrats and leadership.
You know what? I'm this is something new to me. If you could just put in the chat room, him, I guess, ruling it would be the 13 colonies for 8 years before he was elected.
He didn't. I'm saying during the Revolutionary War, not the 13 colonies. He was not the leader of the 13. I'm trying to say when they declared war against England. He was the leader. He was elected the leader by Congress. So he was the head of state.
He was General George Washington, right? I mean,
yeah, but that's still leadership, though. He was the leader for 8 years before he was the president. That's what I'm trying to say. You can look it up. He was a leader of during the Revolutionary War.
Right. So what Traore needs to say is, hey, I'm going to be the general for 8 years, and there won't be any elections until after 8 years. Just come out and say it.
But he's like, again, he's trying to say that the democracy, again, I feel like you're correct for even questioning him, because I feel like certain people are too worshipy of him. But at the same time, I can see where he's going, and I respect the AES, and I see that he's trying to because even the West, the way democracy is set by the West doesn't necessarily formate into the African system. So sometimes Africans have to reformate what the democracy is to reflect their own culture, similar to how America did. America didn't copy and paste everything England did.
And the thing is, I mean, George Washington was just he was chose to lead the army.
And he did say they study in different formats how to run the government. That's why
he was elected to lead the army, but he was also the head of the rebellion nations. He was technically like almost a president, almost, even though there was a formation of body in Congress, etc. He was the head of the rebellion 13 colonies against England. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to.
Well, then, like I said, Traore should just come out. Hey, we done with this democracy stuff. Ain't gonna be no election.
He's not done with democracy, though. He's saying that democracy, as the West set forth to put for every nation to follow,
it's
not going to work for Burkina. It's not going to work for the AES.
Well, okay, I'm sorry. He needs to just come out and say that ain't gonna be no elections until I say so. Did he say? I mean, if he said that,
no.
Then,
I mean, he did. He said that he's studying different forms of government that which they could proceed. He did say that openly when he was interviewed. But the problem is that.
But when he came in under the guise that he was going to go back to civilian rule, correct?
Right. He was going to go step down after the 2 years, but the people said no. We want you to.
Okay, but again, when you say the people, how did the people vote on this?
The young people.
No, what is the young people, man? I mean, come on.
Listen. Because listen, everybody knows the majority of the makeup of Africa are mostly young people.
I know, but
people. Well, listen.
Listen, I'm in Africa every other month. You have these area boys, these city boys. They ain't got nothing to do. They just run around, parading around, like in Nigeria. You know, when they see the politicians come around, oh God me, oh God me, oh God me, and they just parade through the streets, just yelling and screaming. That's what the young city boys do. So that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but when they had that, if you saw that footage, this thing I sent you on Facebook on that AES summit, name me a person that had that many people at a summit, especially a summit that comes every year. That doesn't happen. Not in those numbers.
And Nigeria.
Can I say something real quick? One last thing. But to Dinah's point, the AES is one of the most popular leaders across all of Africa, even in the diaspora. What is stopping them from solidifying their power and having an election and then doing everything that they're doing?
Just have
that's what ECOWAS was saying and Dynas is saying.
Yeah. Just guys, listen. June 15th, we're gonna make this official. We're gonna take it to the vote. Come to the polls, and you'll be heard. I mean, I don't see what the problem is with that. Especially if you came in saying that.
Well, I mean,
like I said, when you said the young people. in the streets. Like everywhere I go to in Africa, when a politician, when a big man, when a man with money is driving down the street, here come the young people. Oh God, me. Oh God, me. They just dance in the streets, Oh God, me. Boss, give me, boss. Boss, come on, boss, your boys. We're your boys, boss. We're your boys.
But
That's what they
Donis,
do.
but
That's
Donis, though, right? So Donis, if they,
That's what
Donis,
they
if the
do.
people, if the people, if the way, like I said, the way the foundation of Burkina Faso is, right? When Thomas Sankara came over there, and when he got overthrown, the people regretted what happened to Thomas Sankara. So when IB came, they did the same thing to him what they did to Thomas Sankara. Those people was like, you know what? We had Thomas Sankara, and we're not gonna let you what you did to him to IB.
But that's different from a vote. Thomas Sankara was assassinated by somebody close to him.
But he was assassinated before he was able to complete what he had to do.
Right. Well, that's different. Well, let me pass the mic. Bubble Lico, go ahead.
Damis, Damis, man, the hell with this democracy you talking about, man? Look what democracy has done to Africa. Look at Africa, man.
Right.
Look at all the country around the world, and look at Africa, man. Look at some of these places in Africa underneath democracy. Cameroon, Ivory Coast extended their time. Benin extended their time. Even Nigeria. You say Nigeria, they were saying whatever. Nigeria and Burkina Faso is two different. The guy is building hospitals, roads. He's putting people to work. Nigeria not even doing that. They give up the country.
Okay, well, Bubble Lico, if we're gonna, I guess, measure this by hospitals and roads, they're doing the same thing in Ivory Coast and Benin. I was in Benin last January. Benin is Cotonou is night and day from when and hell, we even throw in Senegal. So if this is being measured by hospital and roads, then look at Benin.
Yeah, but you're talking about these country that's run by French. He can't do nothing without French saying, "Yo, sit down." He can't do nothing. You're talking about two countries, Burkina. Are you talking about Ivory Coast and Benin? The two. It's this past puppets. I don't even know what to say about those two countries. You're
correct.
Yeah, so you're talking about a guy who is standing by himself, well, not really by himself. He had his brothers who is really doing. Watch this, Donis. Where is the money, the IMF help, and all this? They gain. You talking about that? How much money are they getting from
Burkina Faso? They got an IMF loan.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, majority of the work he's doing is not from the IMF money. It's not from the IMF. Majority of them work. You talking about Ivory Coast and Benin? They're eating from them that IMF money. So come on. It's a big difference. It's a big difference when you're talking about that. You know what I'm saying? These guys been there for years. The guy you're talking about in Benin and Ivory Coast, them guys been there for long. They've been there for a long time. How nobody doesn't? You know what I don't understand, Thomas? There's so much talk about Ibrahim Traore. Where is the talk about these guys in Ivory Coast who've been there for all these years and Cameroon? The guy can hardly even walk. He's winning election and come on, man. It's a joke.
I know B is a problem.
Look at Tanzania. The lady, they had to rush her. That's the next thing. You can't even trust her because the people are saying we need her to go in Tanzania, and you come in to protect her for what? You know what I'm saying? Even Ruto, the people was on the street saying he gotta go. So when we saying democracy and stuff, and they voted Ruto and they want him gone. You know, they want him. They can't wait for the next election. So when we say democracy in Africa it's good. It's a good thing you're saying, but we have to take if you're going to win under democracy underneath France helping you or the Western helping you, your resources is gone. The people, it's just a few eating. It's just a few eating. They'll build little buildings and build little stuff here, but who's those buildings and stuff for? Not the people in the rural areas. The people in the rural areas suffering. Some of them don't even have the lights and stuff to go to school. So what? Democracy.
Man, that's all over. That's all over Africa for the most part.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that's what I'm saying. For how long? How long has there been in democracy? And that's all over Africa. For how long? Democracy ain't working. They need communists. They needed like China. They need one leader to come and do like China and and have everybody in a gear. That's what it needs, because this one here is a puppet. This one here is saying no. This one here is saying yes. This one here it's just a mess, man. The 54 countries is in a mess. It's a mess in Africa. That's why I think with Traore and the AES. Because
how do you feel about Kagame?
Who?
Kagame.
Rwanda. He was. I was like, whoa, this guy is good. Look at his country. He's building up his country. But I never know the guy was using the DRC taking resources for his puppets. I never knew. Like I had did some research because I was running around telling everybody, and I meet some guys here in Texas from the DRC, and they're breaking down this like, brother, you don't know. That guy is working for the West. He's taking the resources and giving it to them and create the M13 gang. I never knew that. So I had to do my research after these guys tell me that. So yes, he built up his country, but what he doing is disgusting, man.
Okay. Let me pass the mic to Sam, man. Go ahead, Sam, man.
Hi, can you hear me? Thank you for letting me on there. Peace.
Loud and clear. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. I was just going to say that if your intentions is to build your country up quickly, monarchies and bureaucracies have a tendency to grow nations more quicker because it creates a structure. And the reason why it creates structure is because you have the haves and the have-nots, and there's a clear line, a clear divide that's created by the people at the top that says this is what you need to do if you want to climb this ladder. It's almost like a militant structure, whereas though you say, well, if I want to move up to captain, if I want to move up to general, well, then these is the criteria that I must meet to meet these baselines to get to that level. So the people have a tendency to work a lot harder based on the structure that was created in the bureaucracy, or kind of like a communism. That's kind of how China moved up so quickly using that bureaucratic system. And the people, their youth, they work extremely hard to meet those standards when it comes to education, because they know these are the standards that they must meet to move up the ladder. Now, in a democracy, if people have all of this freedom, this is when, if your country's trying to build up, this is when you start having problems, because Joe Schmo over here says, well, I don't want to learn calculus. I don't want to learn how to read. I want to just sit around and smoke pot all day, or I want to paint. This isn't helping your country build up. You see what I'm saying? So I think after you have, like the other brothers were saying on the panel, I think after you have, stabilized your country and you built it up to where it's self-sufficient, and the people are living at a standard of living that you feel is sufficient, then that's where you can move to a democracy. But if you're at the ground floor and you want to build up quickly, you want to have it based on a bureaucracy or monarchy, like the Chinese or like Traore is trying to do in Burkina Faso. And I'll land my plane there.
Go ahead, Taraka.
All right, you may hear a GPS, but I'm not driving.
Go ahead.
Okay. All right. Abraham Traore government, they said 5 years, right? You remember when he said 5 years?
What did he say? When did he say that part?
He said 5 years. Then we're gonna commit to re-election. All right. He said 5 years. Remember that he was supposed to step down, and the people that said no. You remember that, right?
So he started in 2022.
Dennis, do you remember?
Yeah.
Right. So he said he was supposed to step down.
I remember that. No, I remember that. But again, was it brought to a vote?
let me ask you something. Why would it be brought to a vote when the people them said no, you cannot step down?
But who's the and the people represent all who have I don't know how many people are
With
in the region of Boston,
bruh,
75 million.
the people rallied and said no, right? We will not allow you to step down, period. That's what they
Okay.
said. And that's when they decide. That's what this
How many
government
people
decided.
rallied?
Who could do an account? It doesn't matter.
Well, hold on,
Okay.
Brandon. Hold on, Brandon. But that's my point, Tarek. That's why you have like a formal vote on these things.
No,
So
well, first of all,
there's no question. Hey guys, listen. Go ahead.
Yeah, first of all, you or I or the US or Europe could tell them what the hell to do. They're gonna decide for themselves.
Correct.
Right? My thing is, if the people don't want him there, if the people don't want him there, right? They'll remove his ass. Right?
With what?
But they want him there.
Remove him with
see what I'm
what?
saying?
Brandon, don't interrupt. Hold on, Brandon, don't interrupt.
Brandon, do not let me start with you, bro. You keep your goddamn mouth shut.
Talker. Go ahead, Brandon. Don't interrupt him. Your turn is you're at the seat.
He better not interrupt me.
Go ahead, Tarek.
Right? So that's what I'm saying. The people want him there, and there's nothing the US could do about it. Right? There's nothing Europe could do about it because the people want him there. First of all, let me share this another thing. You guys are saying that the article you just read, he accepted the medical thing. What the hell was that again?
Well, he has an IMF loan, and he also accepted that.
Yeah, forget that. Everybody got IMF loan. America got IMF loan. He didn't turn over. First of all, he didn't turn over his data. You see what I'm saying? That's different. Number two, I thought everybody said they wanted him to work with America. Now that he's working with America, the problem.
Who said that?
Yeah,
People on this panel, including you, Dynas.
What did I say? What did I say? I wanted to work with America. What did I say that? What did I say that?
You said that, Dynas.
The Brandon said
you
that.
said that. Brandon said that. Uncle Smart said that. Y'all said that. You want to? Whether you said and then whether you said that or not, Dynas, you know you wanted to.
I'm gonna make it clear right now. Dynas Amir has never said that he wants Burkina Faso.
Okay. You may never say it, but you may never say it. I think you did, but you may never say it. But other people on the panel do, right? So why are you working with Russia? You said why are you working with Russia? Well, why are you working with this and that? Right?
I did say that.
Exactly. So now that he's working with America, it's a problem. You see what I'm saying? Now he's working with America, it's a problem.
I never said I wanted to work with America though.
Oh my God of mercy!
I've never said that. I've never said that.
You mentioned the fund that the people donated. The fund that people donated to Dynas.
Exactly. Donated a lot of money, right?
Yeah, 300 million.
But let me just finish up on saying this. All right. The only people to get pissed at him is his own people. America, France was there. It was in the AES with bases. America was there with in Niger and other places with their bases. Right? None of them. Right? They're the one who put the damn support the damn terrorists anyway. But
exactly.
Even if they didn't, none of them helped with the $100 million drone base and so forth and so on. You see what I'm saying?
Facts.
In the end, the only people that could say no, we don't want you, right, is the people that live there. Nobody else could say anything, right? And they want. That's why they signed that bullshit deal with Ghana, right? They want to be close to Burkina Faso and the AES, right? because they want that goddamn pipeline to run through Nigeria with no problem from Nigeria. Right? There's a lot of things going on. Right? And I cannot believe that you people refuse to even give them a chance. Why don't you visit? You travel to Africa all the time, Dennis. Why don't you
Right.
visit the country and find out for yourself what's going on there?
I'm giving him a chance.
That's
I'm
what you.
just
That's what you
saying.
need to do.
I'm giving him a chance. I'm just saying. He said that he was going to have a vote, have a vote. He said he's going to give it back to
And
civilian rule. And if he's not going
5
to do
years
that,
is
just say, hey, listen. Okay, so 5 years would be next year, correct or no? When did he come
Yes,
in power? 2022 or 2000? When did he come in power? 2022.
It
2022.
was there, but he did
Right,
two
right. So,
years.
so, so, so next
No,
year,
no, he did.
so next year
It's
would
not
be.
gonna be it's not gonna be next year on Dynas because it
But when did
was
he come
two
into
years, and
power?
after that it's five. It was 2 years, 20. I think around 2024, and then
Okay,
they sent it
okay.
to
I'm
5 years.
lost. When did he come into power?
If I'm not mistaken, I think
2022.
yeah,
So next year then.
2022.
So the
No,
next
it's
year.
not next. Dynas, it's not next year because he did 2 years. He was gonna go step down. They said no, and they set it to 5 years.
Oh
he did
Lord.
2 years, right? Exactly. Exactly. That's what he
But
Dynas,
said,
who
though,
said
Dennis. That's what he
Hold
said.
on,
Dynas?
Brent. Hold on, Brent. Let me pass the mic to CD. Man, I got somebody has some background noise. I got to mute you.
Yeah, yeah, we
Go ahead, CD.
Hey, guys. Hey, Dennis.
Go ahead.
Uh, so we want AES to survive. We want them to succeed, right? But we have seen several examples in West Africa. Military government never succeed in West Africa. We have seen several
But CD, you always
examples.
come up with the same thing. You always come
So
up with the same thing.
let me
Every week you say the same thing.
Hold on. I stop people from interrupting you. Don't interrupt CD. You just got started. Go ahead, CD.
So when Christian Kabori came to Burkina Faso, they had free and fair election, right? The other guy that Traore removed, he came into power. Traore got rid of him and said because Christian Kabori was not fighting the terrorists. And he was elected in 2015 and he left 2022. These young military leaders, they came to remove him. They said, well, he's not fighting terrorists. We saw the same example in Sierra Leone when this guy, how do you call it, Valentin Strasser came and overthrew. It's from the war front. He came over. They couldn't fight. They all started gaining weight. They started enjoying. Nothing happened. 2021 election in Mali, they came to overthrow him, to remove him. The same military government up to this time, they're fighting the terrorists. And we want them to succeed. But the question is, Burkina Faso, Mali, can this survive without CFA in the long term by establishing monetary sovereignty? No, I don't think so. They face the immediate risk of economic instability, right? Hyperinflation and high debt. You got to know these are landlocked countries. They don't have seed. If you tell them that they should have their own currency, they have to import through Cote d'Ivoire or Ghana, right? That's why France is not even rushing with these guys because they know they have their reserve with France. In order for me to see that those guys they are serious for total independent, that would be like they should have their own currency, which of course I doubt it. Because if they decide to do that, which of course Mali tried before, they tried to have their own currency, they could not succeed. Guinea went through hell before they could succeed. Can they have their own currency? I doubt it because Mali tried before to go with the CFA. They could not succeed, right? So let's see if they can come up with a currency because that requires a knowledge, that requires some sort of economic stability, right? If Burkina Faso want to get rid of CFA, they will have to carry a bag of money to Ivory Coast to import. It will cost them a lot of money, right? This country, they don't have seed. They depend on other countries. So we have seen example over and over in West Africa. Nobody is against Traore, but you have to look at how can countries say what they can survive a CFA that had been established. That's why France decided to give all these French-speaking countries independent, because they knew the independence was easy for all of them, because they knew they already have their reserve with France. So they cannot go anywhere. They can't escape France. The only country that was able to escape France was Guinea. And they went through hell.
What independent?
Hey, guys, let him finish. CD got a minute. I got to pass it to Brandon.
So basically, when you look at CFA in all these French-speaking countries, 60% of the CFA is in Ivory Coast. The rest 40% is Senegal, including Burkina Faso and all the other countries. Can they because you can't say that you can function and have complete independence and there we with France without our CFA. Can they survive without having their own currency? I doubt it. But again, all of them come with some scam that we're fighting war. We don't have a time limit until another military guy will come and overthrow them. It's going to be the same thing over and over and over. So let's see how they do. We're all praying that if we succeed, nobody against them. We want Africa to have full independence. But I doubt it if this country can survive without depending on all these other French-speaking countries. I doubt it.
All right, no, I got to pass the mic. Go ahead, Brandon.
Okay, I'm with CD on this one. Traore will never step down. He most likely will be overthrown by another member of the military, like he did the guy before him. Everyone keeps talking about how the Burkina Faso people will overthrow him if they don't like him. These same people are moronic because they're simply forgetting that Blaise Compaoré assassinated Thomas Sankara, and the people of Burkina Faso did absolutely nothing but sit back and let Blaise rule them for 27 years, right? And they were happy under Blaise, or at least they were comfortable, because in 2014, when Blaise tried to amend the Constitution to allow him to run for president again, the people then did uprise and get him out of there, right? So what we know about Burkinabe is you can kill their hero, but at the end of the day, if you're not doing anything to them personally, they're probably going to let you ride, right? I'm sure the guy before Traore said the same thing. People love me. People don't want me to step down. This is all military rhetoric. You can look at the history of many West African countries that were ruled by military dictators, Mobutu and all these different people. And how did that end, right? It started just like this. Oh, we're going to take control of the resources, We're going to give the people, We're building a hospital. We're buying a bus, this kind of crap. But ultimately, it boils down to the same thing. These are people who are poor or in abject poverty, and the people ruling over them know that they'll be comfortable with very little to nothing. So they just give them the bare minimum to keep them from revolting, and then they keep all the power for themselves. Ultimately, everyone up here is a hypocrite because all of us live under democracy, and we wouldn't live in a country that wasn't a democracy where we have some type of say in who runs the country. You can be dumb and moronic if you want to. Oh, Traore said everybody loved him. Well, Hitler said everybody loved him too, right? Any leader gonna say everybody loves him. What's the guy's name? Idi Amin was like everybody loved him as he was executing people. Hold on, bro. As he was executing people, family members and stuff, but he would swear everyone loves him, right? The one guy, I forgot what country that was, with the guy with the bottles of blood, or the bottles of blood he was smashing. What country was that? He was a general. He took power. I forgot. Oh, Ethiopia.
Ethiopia. That's Manchester.
Yeah, when you look at Ethiopia, that situation reminds me very much of Traore. And I think that's how this situation will play out. But ultimately, Dynas, if you look at the facts of the matter, this guy Traore said he was going to do elections. He didn't do it. That shows that he's a liar. A man who said he was going to do something, it don't matter what the people said. He kept his word. And Dynas, let me ask you this question, and this is to the host. If they love this guy so much and he's in control of the government, why didn't he simply hold elections and get elected at 99%?
That's the question I'm asking. Like that's question I'm asking. Like,
How
hey,
can
just
you
put
have
your
this?
vote.
How can you have
This
elections?
is
You don't have
this is the
instability in the
question that
country.
no one listen. You could set up voter stations, put soldiers in those voting stations, and let people come
So
in and
what?
vote. But
Right, and
listen,
Mali did that. Mali
thank
did
you,
that, and
thank
what
you for
happened?
interrupting me. Thank you for interrupting me. But what I'm telling you is, even if he didn't do that, when you dissolve the opposition parties, that is not a sign that you want to have elections, bro. That's a sign that you want to consolidate power for yourself. Because the problem here is there is no one who can legally challenge Traore without being jailed because the opposition parties have been dissolved. And that's what you guys don't realize. Even if you, even if the people want you, right? You still have to have a mechanism for people to stand up against you if they don't agree with what you're doing. But Dynas, this is the way Africa has been. This is the way Africa will continue to be. And when you listen to these African men stand up here and bull crap all of us, you understand exactly why they are the way they are. But this is my last thought, last 10 seconds, Dynas. You have some bozo get up here talking about, oh, we need to build up like China. We need to do all this, right? Black folks is always fighting to be in second or third place because every communist country, every country he named, rides on the coattails of democracies, capitalistic democracies. Without America, China could not survive, or they wouldn't be at the economic level they are. If you look at any
This guy
communist
talking about
That's
if
where?
you look at if you look at any communist country, Dynas, they have been empowered by capitalist countries. And the last communist country that tried to exist without last major communist country that tried to exist without capitalist countries helping them was the USSR, and they collapsed, and it was horrible. You need capitalism. That's what that's what lifts people out of poverty the fastest, not communism. It's funny how a bunch of black dudes who ain't never stepped foot in China can tell you all about how the inner workings of China
Lie.
go.
Lie.
you're
China,
wrong about Blaise
Lie. We
Compaoré.
better
Okay, can
say
we
China
pass the
built,
mic?
lie.
You're
China
wrong
You
about
builds,
Blaise.
lie.
China
Hold on.
builds. Listen, China has to build fake cities with no rebar just to keep their currency having some value. There's all types of funny
Right,
business
but
they're
America
doing.
gets
But you
majority of their stuff
switch.
from
I don't
China,
want
though,
to
Can we
right?
talk
pass the
about
mic?
America. America's doing good. That's why we all live here, making money.
Hold on. You switch from democracy to talk about capitalism. Why
I
No,
we
talking
switch
about
democracy?
Hitler, the
democracy
guy
and
named Hitler.
capitalism,
Brandon, you
democracy,
tripping, man. You tripping,
democracy,
Brandon.
democracy and capitalism go hand in hand. Every last one of you enjoys the ability to earn a check and be in control of your money. Why would you vote or want
Most
some
Americans
other?
live
No,
paycheck to
but
paycheck.
Every country in Africa that is leading with a leading economy is a democracy. Every country that is a communist dictatorship
Which
is
one?
failing.
Which one, Brandon? Which one? Which one? Tell us
Hey,
which one.
Nigeria, Kenya,
Hey, Dennis, can you
Botswana,
pass the mic?
Angola. I can
Oh
keep
my
going.
God.
Country
And
has
you
a
and
That
you
guy
wrong
Every
is
about
country,
Blaise.
crazy.
You wrong
Oh
about
my
Blaise
God.
Compaoré. Blaise Compaoré
every country,
threatened.
listen.
Nigeria is a shambles.
When Dynas tells me to shut up, it'll be okay for
Can
you
you
guys
can
to
you
interrupt
pass
me.
the mic, Dynas?
Yeah, please.
Every
10 seconds.
country,
Brandon,
30
they
seconds,
crazy
every
Brandon.
man. No.
every every country in Africa that has wealth and is doing really well is a democracy. The premier country on
No
the
country in
planet
Africa is thriving.
is America, and China and any other little communist country. Either they're riding on the coattails of America or they don't have enough power to
How did
stop
America
America.
get rich? How
Jesus
did
Christ,
America
Dinah,
get rich?
I
Not
reclaim
from
my time.
slavery?
Can I reclaim
From
my 30
slavery.
seconds?
America get
Dinah,
rich
can I
Yeah,
from
Brad,
reclaim my
Brad,
Hold
you
on,
30?
Brad,
let
you
Brandon
were claiming
speak.
30 seconds.
Did
Go ahead.
America get rich from slavery?
Reclaiming
Hold on,
my
Brandon.
No.
time.
Let Brandon speak.
Reclaiming
Let
my
Brandon
time.
Just
speak.
let him
Oh my
finish.
God.
Let Brandon
Oh my
speak.
Just let
Reclaiming
God.
him
my
finish.
time. Hey, listen, Dynas. Every country that is communist is either at the mercy of the American economy or America could go in and just take over that country like nothing. Why do black people keep trying to institute plans that lead them to being victims? You need to
Brandon.
build a democratic capitalist
Let him
country
finish.
so you could acquire some power. That's what
Brandon,
Brandon,
you're
is
stop
going to do.
having
slavery?
wet dreams, bro.
Brandon, is
Go back
slavery?
to your wet
Is
dreams,
slavery
Brandon.
communist?
I'm
Go
going
Brandon,
to go
is
back
back
to
to
your
your
slavery?
mama's
fucking wet
house in a
dreams,
minute.
Is
Brandon.
slavery
I want to
communist,
yo
Brandon?
listen.
Go
Can
back
you
to your
pass the
wet
mic,
dreams,
Dynas?
Brandon.
All right, guys. All right, guys.
Let
I
Brandon
gotta pass
finish
the
so he
mic to
can
Elvis. Go ahead,
respond.
Elvis.
All right, thank
Elvis.
you, Dynas. Hello to the panel in the chat. Are you hearing me, Dynas?
Yes, go ahead.
All right. So I'm saying hello to you in the chat and the panel. Look, you have to understand that a coup is treasonous. Someone who commits a coup has already committed treason against their government, especially if that president is still in his constituted time. That's treason. That's an illegal act. Usually they don't get tried for treason because they usually succeed with the coup. But if you fail an attempted coup, you probably get hanged or probably get killed. If somebody tries to coup Trump right now and they get caught, they'll be probably killed or sentenced to life. For treason. And secondly, let me just tell you what's going on with this whole thing about the people want you to stay. What happens usually? This is Africa. Those who are Africans and know history, we know this playbook. You have a military guy go in there, do a coup. Maybe after a couple of years, you will have people that's in his orbit come and tell him, well, Mr. President, I got 10,000 or 50,000 signatures. The people want you to stay. They love you. They don't want you to leave. And then like a coward, that leader will say, you know what? Since I have the people's support, fine, I'll stay. I have no other option but to obey the will of the people. So I'm obliged, to stay and rule them. That's the second thing. Or if they're smart and a little more savvy, what they would do is what Dumbuya did, and like many other military leaders, that's what they would do. They will go to elections, most likely rig the elections, and win, and become a quote unquote civilian president. But of course, they have complete authority over the military, and you're probably going to have people being killed in the country who oppose that leader. So this is Africa. My issue with Traore is not that he's doing this or he's not doing that. Is that when you're in a country and you have a government, a system of government, you can subvert that system by itself. You're practicing sedition to your country constitutions. So take Eswatini, for example. That's a monarchy. It's in Africa, right? It's an absolute monarchy, right? That's their country's, that's the form of government. I'm not going to criticize it because that's what they agree on. That's their form of government. So when these Africans who are really dictators at heart and they love dictatorship except they don't like to live under them, telling us that, well, what has democracy ever done? You live in a democracy. People who didn't like Joe Biden, they waited for their 4 years patiently. They went to the voting booth and they voted him out. Those who don't like Trump now, and I'm sure they're hoping that 2028 or 2026 here, they will probably get a chance to, to put new people in. That's how civilized people act. You may not like the leaders. You may think he's not doing the right thing, but you have a constitution. You have a governing system that's governing you. You wait and you execute. When people talk about Burkina, like CD, I think Brandon made the point, and I made it in the comment earlier. Look, Blaise Compaoré, who the people didn't want, they saw him as a traitor to kill maybe one of their best leaders ever. He, was in there for 27 years after he killed a guy who committed treason by, overthrowing the previous administration. So anytime you see these guys who are talking about, these guys are heroes, they've committed the most heinous crime of cooing another president, out of power. And then you think this guy is going to do the right thing because he's a good guy. Traore here he took the easy route. He said that he has popular support, even though you can't quantify it by any measurable means, and it's just by word of mouth or social media, influence. Dinus, I made the comment. In Kano State, Nigeria, right? You can have 1 million people at a political rally in Kano. You would think that the whole of Kano State is for that one, a person, for example, like
and they get paid
a politician like Kampo.
Elvis.
Say that again.
I said that those people over there in Nigeria, they get paid to attend those events.
Right, fine, that may be, but my point here is that you can have a massive crowd at a political rally in a densely populated state like Kano, Nigeria. Doesn't mean that the entire state of over 20 million people or close to 20 million people are going to vote for that one person. So when people are telling us that the proof is in the rallies or the popular support that we see online means that he has legitimacy of the majority of the people, it's not true. So the guy is a dictator. He's showing the dictatorial tendency, and we have to acknowledge it.
Elvis, can I ask Elvis?
I'll pass the mic, Dennis. I'll pass the mic.
So if that's the case, if those people in Burkina Faso were paid to attend all those AES summits, it would have been out already. People would have.
That's not what I said. You brought up the thing about somebody being paid. I'm telling you that at political rallies,
said that it does not matter if people are over there. That means it's not authentic.
You made the point, and I didn't want to answer you.
Elvis,
no,
Elvis,
right?
Elvis.
And I'm responding to you.
Wait, can I ask a question?
Dennis, let me ask you. Was Maduro elected? Was Maduro elected? You see,
he was elected. He was elected,
right? So I'm asking
Yeah,
you.
it was a contested election, but he was elected.
Hold on, because there's real hypocrisy going on here. Maduro was elected, so now the democracy place who calls for democracy take out a guy who was elected in Venezuela, right? Now we talking about democracy. So let me be real. Who was behind the Compare to kill Sankara? Did he do it by himself, or was it by France? Like, we got to stop this nonsense.
You're insulting Africans when you think that a man like Compaore don't have the mental faculties to kill somebody on his own will because he's hungry for power. That the French had to use him as a puppet. He was power greedy. He killed his best friend for power. Do you blame him or you blame the French?
It's controlled by the Europeans. It's not true.
Wait a minute. So did the Europeans get Traore to overthrow his government because he making deals with them?
No.
How do you know? How do you know?
How I know? Because I got people there and I got family.
Oh my God!
No, that's
what you saying, Brandon?
Bro, how do you know?
How do I know? Because I know
you got people in the CIA
that are working within.
You got people in the CIA.
Brandon, you know by the reaction of the West when he took power. You see the difference between he took power and when Gabon president took power.
So how do you know Russia didn't do it? How do you know Russia didn't do it?
Again, that's a good. Go ahead.
No, bro, you don't know. You don't know.
Russia overthrowing other governments.
There is no way for you to know, bro.
We know. Hold on, Brandon. You know how we know? Because if that had happened. If that had happened, why they were still trying to kill Traore? Why the follow leader was still trying to kill Traore? Why there was France and them, Ivory Coast and them was still paying the last leader to kill Traore if he was really by the Western?
Because he committed treason. He committed treason by removing him through a coup. What are you talking about?
I love the way these guys. Hold on. I love the way these guys act like black folks don't have the capacity to commit treason and assassinate somebody. It's always got to be some white guy.
No, you're right. But they were backed by France. But can I ask you a question, Brandon and my brother Elvis? Can I ask you a question? How do you view the Revolutionary War? Is that treason as well? How do you view that?
Exactly.
No, I don't think
that was actually treason. Had they lost that war, they would have all been hung, but they won.
Well,
they won. Because the British was governing them, and they rebelled through when they did the Tea Party. That's why the British sent troops, because that was an act of rebellion, and that's why they came and tried to and take over. But if you win, hey, you're the victor. You got your independence. If you lose, you're most likely going to get hanged.
But here's the thing. It was an entire colony that was paying taxes to the government that did not have representation in the parliament, which actually went against the British Charter, and the king did not want to amend it to give them representation. So was it a coup? Yes. But was it valid because the king was violating his own charter? Yes.
Can I ask another question?
What charter was
I gotta pass the mic. Asanya, go ahead, Asana.
Okay, thank you. So I want to use Nigeria as an example of this. I want to get off of Burkina Faso completely. When you have relatively young nations, which most African countries are, they're relatively young compared to other countries. You can't just give them their independence because their independence was given to them. They didn't fight for it. You can't give them independence and then just institute democracy right away, especially when majority of the population is poor. It's not a homogenous society. There's a lot of ethnic tension, tribalism, things like that. Because if you just give them democracy right away or propagate democracy onto them, you can always stoke ethnic tensions and you can always corrupt people by giving them money because majority of the population is poor, uneducated, and extremely splintered because there's so much diversity of ethnicity in a country. Democracy does not work in young nations, especially young nations that are majority uneducated. Like I said, in Nigeria, Nigeria is the poverty capital of the world, and it's extremely tribal. And we see how that's worked out for us when it comes to quote unquote democracy. If you're having an election, all they have to do is say, hey, vote for this person because they're from your tribe. And people will vote for them in droves because not only are they tribalistic, they're poor and uneducated. How can you have a democracy in a country where majority of the populace is uneducated? You can give them bags of rice and they'll vote for a candidate. That's a farce. That's laughable. That's not democracy. If majority of the populace was educated and they actually knew what they were voting for, not saying, this person's from my tribe, so I should vote for them just because they're from my tribe, even though they're illiterate and didn't go to school and forge their degrees. Let me still vote for them because we're from the same tribe. That doesn't even make sense. So majority of these African countries, there shouldn't even be 54 countries. The map should be redrawn to where more countries are mostly homogenous and they're not so splintered. But you cannot have democracy in countries where majority of the population is poor and uneducated. That doesn't even make sense. If the illiteracy rate in the United States was over 60% and then we just had elections, how would that even look? That wouldn't make any sense whatsoever because most people wouldn't even know what they're voting for. They couldn't even rationalize the talking points or the agendas that the candidates were trying to get across to the population. That doesn't make sense. So democracy will not work in Africa right away. These are young nations. First, you have to build the country up. You have to educate the population, reduce poverty, and then maybe you can gradually institute democracy. You can't do it right away. That's why the colonists knew exactly what they were doing when they did that, because it's like they already knew it was going to be a disaster. And on top of that, not only did they propagate democracy onto these new nations, they still were meeting with tribal leaders to give them power in a sense here and there to keep the countries even more splintered to where power was not centralized. It was still splintered across different various aspects of the society with tribal leaders as well as politicians. So the name of the game is divide and conquer. If you centralize power and focus on development like China did, and then educate the populace and reduce poverty, then maybe you gradually introduce democracy. You can't do it right away. That doesn't even make sense. When all the Western empires and powers developed their nations through mercantilism, not capitalism, as all you guys love so much, through mercantilism and monarchies, and then slowly introduce democracy. They didn't have democracy. Russia didn't have democracy. England didn't have democracy. Belgium didn't have democracy. France didn't have democracy. So what are we talking about?
Yeah, America didn't start off with democracy.
America didn't start off with democracy because the founding fathers of America came from a monarchy.
It's not. We understand that. So Traore just said, "Hey, we canceling democracy. Ain't gonna be no voting. We running this thing."
Because the goal is development and raising the literacy rate and reducing poverty.
I understand that. So Traore should just come out and say, "Listen, this is going to be a monarchy. We canceling elections. We not."
But why, Dennis? Why?
Why
He
not?
don't believe that.
Why not?
So he don't believe that. You're putting that shit in his mouth. He don't believe that.
Exactly.
Once a monarchy,
you see what I'm saying? He don't believe that. He said 5 fucking years, and that's what it's going to take.
So it's going to be next year then.
No, Dennis. He said 5 years after the 2 years. After he spent 2 years there.
5 years.
That's what he said.
All the heads extended their terms to 5 years. Everybody from Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso.
If Traore stepped down for Burkina Faso, all hell will break loose in Burkina Faso. This place is
exactly.
Yeah, all those places are European control.
But hold on a second. Let me ask everybody something. Does this go for why they're concentrating on Traore? Does this go for Mali and Niger also? Because the same situation. So why all this concentration on Traore?
Exactly.
He's the most popular.
Because the West know he's the head of the snake. Although Traore listen to his elders, those 2 other leaders, more than anything else. You see what I'm saying? But they know because he's so popular from here to fucking Jamaica to China to Russia. He's extremely popular. So they know. You understand? They got to cut off the head. And like I said, that's why a stupid fucking Ghana president comes sign this bullshit deal with these cowards. These cowards fucking European. You know what I'm saying? So they can set up their fucking base there, right? Because they want to get the fucking oil from Nigeria, the gas from Nigeria, through Niger, through the other country next to Niger, and to Europe. That's what this is all about.
Well,
And
it
you
is.
talking people can't understand that?
Yeah, and
This is what it's all about.
meanwhile, Africa don't have
Right?
no pipeline running through. Africa need the pipeline running through to protect them. They need their own resources. They're gonna build a pipeline
Right.
to Europe.
Because Iran and Russia cut those bitches off.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep.
Cut those fucking bitches off.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's going on. And you fucking people better understand this shit.
Let me pass the mic to Say James. Go ahead, Say James.
Hi, Donis. Thanks for bringing me back again. I didn't know we were going to do a quick turnaround, and thanks for the topic again. Yeah. Salute to the panelists, man. Listen, I know the subject is very polarizing, and I'm going to address a few things that certain people said that on here today, that when Thomas Sankara was killed, the people of Burkina Faso did not do anything. It's a lie. There was a lot of uprising, a lot of killing, people being displaced, and you can look it up. It's all there. We didn't wait 27 years to remove him. We were not successful at doing it over the course of 27 years. But you're not going to sit on here and tell me that the people of Burkina Faso didn't try. I actually have to praise them for being able to do that. They did it without the, in parts with the help of the military, but the people did do that, 95%. So you have to praise them. So they're not cowards. Okay. And then, Donis, let's say you're in the tourism business, right? You take people to Africa, right? There is a new article that just came today or yesterday. You can look at it. Burkina Faso tourism sector hit record $165 million amid insecurity. Why? If the country is doing nothing, if Traore ain't doing nothing, we wouldn't be hitting those numbers, right? So those are the action we look at, not what people say, the feelings and the emotions. I go by what the guy is able to accomplish over the short period of time. So people are talking about now being quantified. There is another project, a presidential initiative that was launched in 2024.
I mean, hold on, is this like a record? I mean, as far as the tourism revenue for 2025 or what?
Yes, it is a record.
So you're saying in the past they never hit that much?
They never hit that much. No. I mean, the situation we're going through right now. No.
Are you sure? Are you sure?
We can check it out. Check it out. Okay, and there is a presidential initiative that was launched in 2014. I'm sorry, 2024. $64 billion that he put towards a plan from starting 2026.
That's not necessarily true, Say James. But go ahead. When it comes to the tourism revenue, but go ahead.
Okay. I would. Okay, put a link in there so we can.
You say that's a record. Well, I mean, what I'm saying is you put your link saying that it's a record, like all-time record. You put the link in the.
It's not an all-time, but it's a record.
Well, that's why I asked if it's a record. You said yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So is it an all-time record or no?
Okay. If you have something to say otherwise,
I just checked it. It's not true. It's not.
Yeah,
what was the number before?
Go ahead.
What was the number before? What year? No. Give me the year, though. Give me the year. If you have the year, that's what I want to know.
2017 total revenue was 172 million.
We were not in terrorism, Donis. That's what I'm telling you.
What do you mean there was terrorism all through the Sahel?
There was not. Well, we were brand new. The country wasn't.
When I was in
Donis, Mali. You talking about Mali now? 2017.
Burkina Faso all throughout there. All throughout.
Donis, the first terrorism attack in Burkina Faso was in the late 2015. It was not even a terrorist attack. They came to the capital. They bombed Russian hotel.
So these numbers are
the country was.
That's what I'm saying.
We were not at the peak of terrorism in 2017. That's what I'm trying to tell you. We were not there. There were little pockets that were controlled, that were not even controlled by the terrorism. There were little pockets that were hitting, but we were not at the peak of terrorism in 2017. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So the tourism sector was not really that impacted in 2017 like that. That's what I'm trying to tell you. Okay, Moving on to a project called Faso Mebo. I challenge every Africans on here who are talking, right? You said it's not quantified. You don't really know if the people support them, right? You want to vote to really know if the people support them, right? You want to vote.
Correct.
So what kind of president in Africa put on a project fully funded by the people, and the people agree to sign on to those projects, and they're paying money? What kind of president does that and is yielding results? The roads are being built, the industries are being built,
Exactly.
and people are getting jobs. Agriculture is doing better. Imports has decreased. We are now depending on our own inputs through these projects put on by the president.
When you say depending on your own, hold on, say Jen. When you say depending on your own airports, what do you mean?
Imports.
Imports. Okay, imports. Okay, that's
imports. Our own inputs from within. So how more quantifying metrics do you need? How much do you need? People are agreeing to those things and they are happy of doing it in a country. And you are telling me, oh, we need an election. That's fine. It's another debate. But people see what they sign up for. We see the action, right? Now, a president that put up 64 billions for the next 4 years, starting 2026, through the revenue of gold. It's like giving back to the country, using our own resources to build a nation. $64 billion for the next 5 years. You can quantify that through the revenues from the golds. You can quantify it. So the idea that we're going to sit on here, yesterday I told you that we have a lot of Africans with, I don't know. I don't know what they want for their own countries, right? But in my country that we are talking about here, we are happy with the actions. We are happy with the way the country is moving forward. Some people don't see it because they don't live in it, and I get it, right? And one thing I'm going to say to you, right? CD was talking about us depending on the French, the currency, right? The CFA. I would like for him to go back to listen to what Traore said, right? When ECOWAS removed us from, we were, how you call it, suspended from ECOWAS, right? And we were trying to figure this thing out. Do you know that Burkina Faso, right, as we speak right now, the West Central Bank that is backed by the French is begging us for gold? CD, do you know that? If we can't depend on ourselves, why are they begging us for gold? Traore said it. They're begging their only needs.
They said they're begging you guys for
Yeah,
what?
begging for gold. Yes, it's in the interview. You can watch it.
When was that?
ECOWAS didn't come. ECOWAS, most of the country that their currency is pegged to the euro. They're not talking about it, right? So we put up our own goal to participate in this, right? We created our own investment bank. The three countries, we created our own investment bank. Everything goes through that bank right now. Like I told you the other day, we are working on our own currency. But you see the reactionary Africans, right, who didn't learn through history. I'm glad you brought Guinea, right? So we're going to be very, really practical right now. We're not going to go through emotion. Traore already told you, Goita already told you, our best financiers are working on this thing. When they're ready, they will hit those presidents that we are ready. Traore is not going to make that move. Let me finish, sir.
I just want to. I'm not saying anything negative against that.
No, it's not negative. I'm just telling you that this time, instead of Sekou Toure saying that the country is ready, we have our own currency, Sekou Toure, although I like him, maybe he was too reactionary to the French. That's why they were able to sabotage the currency. That's what I'm trying to tell you. So what I'm trying to draw a parallel to what you just said. This time, these presidents, they're not going to have anything to do with that. They want their own currency, but they're not going to be the one making those decisions. There are people within those three nations. We have capable people. They will study it. They will let this president know we are ready and we can move forward. That's the plan. So we're not gonna do it because somebody's like, oh, why are you still using the CFA? This is our money. We put our own gold in it to participate in it. So
Exactly.
it's not them doing us a favor. We are doing them a lot of favors if you really look at it. So don't sit on here and tell me that we depend more on them than they depend on us.
No. You don't
No,
understand me, Saint Jean. Let me
no.
clarify that.
Let
No,
me
no,
let
let
me
him finish.
finish.
Let
Let
Saint
me
James
let,
finish. Let
let
him
me let
finish.
me finish.
Okay.
So when you talk about quantifying, you gotta understand that we are quantifying the actions. We are not quantifying the votes. Some people want to vote. I get it. I give them that. If you live in America, you live in the UK, and that's what you know best for you, I'm not going to challenge that. But my country, we decided to do it a little different this time because it hasn't worked for us. Before I land my plane, I want to address Brandon. He said, CD, he said, we had an election in 2015 when we got rid of Blaise Compaoré. Ask yourself who put him there. If it wasn't because of
That's what
the people that came out on the street, right?
Oh yeah. That's
If
happening.
it wasn't for them, would we have Christian Kabore? Christian
No.
Kabore was the prime minister of the same president that killed Thomas Sankara. Do you know that, right? Do
Yes,
you know
I
that?
know. I
Okay,
know.
so the same people, right? They took it upon themselves to do that for him to pave the way for him to become president. And he disappointed us. We gave him 5 years. He went and negotiated with the terrorism. Our country was taken. We gave him another 2 years. He had an election. He paid the terrorists more money to keep us safe, and it didn't happen. After 2 years, these people are screaming they have 60% of our territory. All the decision we made, you guys are comparing us to countries that were stable. We were not stable. We were not. So I want you just to add, when you talk about Burkina Faso, you have to really understand that this country wasn't really stable. These people were fighting for their country. They were fighting for their lives. They were scared that they would lose the country. So we needed somebody who can really bring the countries together. Whether it was a military or a civilian, we didn't care. That's the part that a lot of people didn't understand. We didn't care. We tried a civilian guy, Christian Kabore. He did his best, but he couldn't bring people together.
and
So
you're much more stable now, right? Much
we
more
are
stable.
much more stable. For the first time ever, we are near Niger. We are near Benin. We are closing. We are kicking the terrorists out of the country.
I see.
What are you talking about? You talking about? He's not doing. Check the news in Burkina.
Guys, let me pass the mic. Let me pass the mic.
I wanted to
Anti-moralist, go
respond
ahead.
to St. James.
Well, let me pass the anti-moralist first. Go ahead, anti-moralist.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Greetings, everybody. And everybody, please hit the like button. We're gonna start being like Africa here. So hit the like button. Now, my point, I gotta just say this. I think a lot of you, especially Africans from the older generations, are analyzing the situation with a mindset that belongs to a different era. A lot of them bring up the assassination of Thomas Sankara by Blaise Compaoré, and they don't take into account that what happened during that time, there was no internet, no access to roads, no mass media like today, and no real-time awareness. The world has changed, and information these days moves quite instantly. So narratives like what's going to happen, all these things, they're challenged, especially by young people. And I know a lot of times I talk bad about young people, but the young people are far more aware than before. So when I'm listening to a lot of these arguments, it feels like I'm talking to to people living like in a different era, not in the present. People like those are trying to preserve a history that no longer exists. And that matters because power today is not just control. It's constantly observed, it's constantly challenged every day. It's reshaped. And at the same time, I'm not pretending to live in a perfect democracy. I don't, and I accepted that. I don't live in a perfect democracy. I don't even live in a democracy. Let's be honest. I've been to one, of course. I've actually been to China. I have my dad. He went to Turkey to get his education in civil engineering, and he met this one Chinese friend. They were very good. When they went to China, and the guy who I met, very, very cool dude, very political, and actually kind of understood how the political system worked a bit. But also, I have a friend who's in the college right now who's from China. She, she doesn't complain about it. She doesn't really care about democracy, but she told me exactly how it works now. You know, in China, they have a version of democracy. Most people don't believe this, but it's not very state level. Now, it's actually very local. people choose their local leaders specifically because it's they believe that, hey, if I can actually see my leader every day, that matters more than actually the president. Because most people don't really care about the president like Xi Jinping. Now, I'm going to say this. How their system works is that they never really gave up political control. Even when they opened up economically with capitalism, they never gave up their political control. They still believed in their ideology. They just allowed those capital controls, especially with a large population, to make them powerful. That's what they did. So the idea that we have to be a democracy and a capitalism at the same time, or capitalism and democracy are synonymous, I disagree with that. That is not true. Okay, and China proves that because they're not a full democracy. All those decisions were people from the party. Now, when I look at someone like Traore, I, either if you like it or not, I do see him as a symbol of change. Now, here's the thing. I'm not saying he's good or bad change. That's irrelevant, actually, in the beginning. We see by change is disruptive by nature. And a lot of people criticizing him are not neutral observers. They represent older people and older systems. These are the same people during colonial times. They benefited from colonials. And a lot of them inherited that power. A lot of these African leaders inherited these powers. So therefore, when they see somebody like him who says, fuck all this, screw all this, they fear themselves, okay? And I'm not gonna say all of them. And even families that are not in politics, they fear that. Now, here's an example. Kenya, okay, love it, but John the Kenyatta family, they use the same taxes as the British when it comes to land and power, okay? No different. They're basically black people who are colonialists. That's why they have an incentive to keep the system the way it is. That's why some people who are democracies, they benefit in some kind of way. So this is why I don't believe in this idea of democracy, because it was never really a system, again, not democracy as a whole, but this democracy that we're being pushed at, it's just a crock of shit. So that's why people can, they're saying, oh, if Ibrahim Traore is not doing democracy, not doing election, like as if there's actually fair elections in this continent. I mean, I say they don't exist, but they're very, very rare. Like, sometimes I laugh. Like, listen, I come from Tanzania. We know that shit wasn't fair. And we understand. Listen, people protested. I'm not going to act like I defend it. I don't. But I always understood. Ain't no way this country's a democracy. And they've made it clear that we have our own goals, and our goal is to make sure development has control. That's it. Some people protested, and that's what happened. And what I think they fear the most about Ibrahim Traore when it comes to this, not only for Traore, the AES in general, is that if they actually succeed, imagine, they manage to fight terrorism, they manage to stabilize their country, they manage to rebuild their economies, and they actually show real growth under those conditions, then the entire conversation changes. Now people across Africa, especially young people, are going to start asking real hard questions. If they could do that under those situations, under those circumstances, under war, instability, pressure, and we are in a relatively peaceful country, what the fuck can't we do? Then the old guards start getting afraid. That's when elites who actually inherited the wealth, who inherited these systems from the British or the French, they actually inherited that, they start to actually fear. Then they start to actually fear their own people. Because if people can ask, like, you can say you don't like it, but then I say, just ask the people in these other countries, why do they like it? Okay? Because, again, he is young, he's about 30, he's not even 40 yet, okay? He's closer to my age than I am to my leaders, okay? So, even there was this one Kenyan politician who talked bad about him and say, oh, these people want more dictatorship. And then under Ruto, they were protesting against him. I'm like, man, listen, I know we don't live perfect, but, I'm just saying. Now, the thing is, what I like about him is specifically, it's like, what he's doing is that he's not acting like he's got a perfect system. He's looking at the systems in other countries. He's looking at Chinese system because of how quickly it was able to pull a lot of people out of poverty. And I actually, in China, one thing that a lot of people don't know, landowners, of course, lost everything. Landowners, wealth owners, all those people. You can call it ugly, but it did reshape the country. A lot of people own their homes now. My point is, when a system like that becomes unequal for a long time, and someone then comes in and basically tries to disrupt it, the people who benefited from that inequality, the old guard, the old people, I call them the black colonialists, they are the ones who are going to resist the hardest. So this is why I look at it. So this is why they're opposing him. They don't necessarily hate him right directly. They hate what he actually represents. It's not about democracy, ideology. It's about, I want to keep my wealth. Okay, and at the end of the day, if he can show results, especially, again, keep in mind, they're not in a peaceful country. Okay, so if you can do it under those conditions, you're going to have to look at your leader and say, yo, motherfucker, what the fuck couldn't you? And that's what they fear. Because a lot of these leaders who are very like 70, and it's not like only in America, in Africa, there's like leaders in America who are like 90 and all that stuff. I'm not saying it's gonna inspire over there, but my point is there's a lot of old people who are gonna need to go away. And I'm not saying that I hate my elders. Listen, I love my elders, respect my grandfather. Okay. But at the end of the day, once you get like above 60, man, I don't feel how you can give much. So this is why I think they really, really hate. That's why when I look at his, oh, he didn't do election, he's a lie. I'm like, you don't give a fuck. You don't care. You don't actually care about this. You just want him gone. And that's it. You want him gone because you fear what he actually represents, and that might happen to your country. And then
Dennis, can I come?
That's what I'll say.
Repeating yourself over and over. So, Dennis, St. James, the whole thing is, I don't think someone like me will ever be against Traore. But I'm looking at other steps that I think are very important when you say you're breaking away from other francophone country, right? He doing a lot of things right, okay? But the thing is, these are import intensive country. I'm looking at the financial aspect of everything, right? If country are importing 100% and they have a currency that are very strong currency, how can they get away with that type of currency by backing up with gold? Back in the days, people would use gold to back up their currency. United States used to do it, but who got rid of it? Richard Nixon. The reason Richard Nixon got rid of it is because America has, institutions that export more than import. So they can print in as much money as they can. Because why? They have huge companies that have trillions worth of asset that can back up the currency. Let us say, for example, country like Niger. Niger decided to get away with CFA. What they're going to use to back up the currency? Uranium? Those days are gone, especially with the price of gold right now.
Not true.
Before the war, gold price was up. The reason why gold price was up, because there was a lot of inflation in the US, right? When there's a war, everybody run into US to save their money because this is a safety zone. So when everybody started rushing here to put their money into US dollar, gold price dropped.
So
in terms of war, everybody come to America because they think that's the safest place to put your money.
Sydney asked me, so why is Britain and France stocking up on gold? Why they have tons and tons of gold?
It doesn't. They don't use that to back up their currency anymore.
What they use it for? What they use it for? Why they taking gold? Why they want more and more gold?
Let me finish. Then you question me.
I'm just asking you. I'm asking you a question.
Why they don't use? That's why they created euro. They don't use gold anymore to back up their currency. That's what I'm telling you right now.
My man, CD.
Let me finish.
Before the French went to the euro. Before the French went to the euro, do you know they took more of our gold to meet the requirement? No, I'll let you finish. Do you know they use our gold to meet their requirement to join the euro? Do you know that?
Look, let me finish this first. I understand that, but what I'm saying is that these are countries that import a lot. 100% of what they have, they import it. So if you flipping your currency to a new currency, you have to back up with something that is not even gold or uranium or resources. I'm telling you right now, these days are gone. But go back in the days, America used to back their currency with what? With gold. Who got rid of it? Was Richard Nixon. Because why? They have resources. Not in
what
the
is it back
resources
with
in the
now,
sense
CD?
of gold. They have companies that can
what is it back with? What is U.S. currency back with now?
Oil.
It's back up
petrodollar, right? The petrodollar.
It back up with export. It means that the export out of the country. That's what the back up with. It's no gold in this used to back up USD. Not a gold at all. because that's why
It's
that's
backed
CD, you
by
why
don't know what
oil.
you're talking about,
that's
bro.
why
You
gold.
don't know
But he
shut,
did. He went
shut
to
up, bro. You
Saudi
don't know what you're
Arabia.
talking
Let me
about.
finish. That's why gold and USD they compute.
So that's why
When
They
gold go
compute or
up, when there's an
compete.
inflation in the
Babe,
US, what happens? Gold price
The
go up.
USD is about to collapse. They're about to change the currency to digital
yep,
currency. You don't know what's going on?
What
yep,
digital currency? What?
that's why all the gold
They're
is
Listen,
gonna
listen.
change it to a digital currency,
Okay,
CD. You don't know that?
I'm telling you right now. When this war started, before the war could start, gold price was up. Everybody was putting their money into gold. The reason is there was a lot of inflation in the US, so everybody was throwing their money into gold. But right now, because of the war, America benefit a lot from war than any other country. Because why? Everybody rush here to put their money USD. And when USD go up, gold price drop. That's what happened. And I'm
The
telling you now,
gold price is up right now.
go and
It's up right now.
compared to before the war, it dropped. Before the war.
It went back
Yeah,
up.
but it lose a couple
But it
points,
went
not
back,
that much point.
it
Not
went
that
back
much
up.
point, CD.
Oh man, that's what I'm telling you right now.
It
I'm telling
dropped,
you
but not that much. It did drop.
but that's what I'm telling, because right now the reason why it went up today is because of Trump trying to have ceasefire
It, it,
with
And he gave
Iran.
in to Iran's
it's
Every
been
demand
climbing
company
up from
to
before that.
pay their
today
oil in
everybody make
Chinese
money.
yuan, by the
It's
way.
Everybody
been
make
climbing
money
up from
today.
before that.
Okay, let
see
me tell
what
you, everybody make money today
you're saying is very
because
dangerous.
of the ceasefire.
And
The
what
only people that did not make money were people that have money in oil. Oil
what
price dropped. But
what you
every
say is
industry
very,
went up today. That's what
because
I'm telling you
to
right
back
now.
the money, you have to back your money with something, and that's why the
But it's
America, they know it, and and
they
and
don't back their America don't back their money with anything again. I'm telling you
They
right
back it
now.
with the
They
They
arms
don't.
and
back
the
it up
Backing
with
military.
oil,
That's
city. They back
Okay,
by
petrodollar,
yes,
oil.
backing up their
They
petrodollar.
went
I'm
to the
confused about
yo
that.
They're,
in the
they're looking for
'70s.
pressure
They
So
all,
went to
all
the
over the
Middle
earth,
East and
America,
they
world. What
backed
is
the
that talking about?
currency with oil. That's what they
all right.
pay the oil with dollars. A city.
I'm telling you right now, America used to back up their money with gold. They
We
don't do it anymore.
understand that, but we're trying to
That's before.
understand
Now
that
they
it's
back it
backed
with
by
Go
dollar.
back to
oil.
the
The
They
history
That's
currency
back
what
with
now is
that's what
petrodollar.
people was
diversified.
telling you.
go back to the history and check
We
who got
all
rid
know
of
that, but
He
gold.
doesn't know what he's talking
it's
be
about.
a
backed by
problem.
He's
oil
talking historical,
currency.
but I'm talking
How
the
you think
present
you
day.
buy oil?
But
You pay with the dollar,
no,
city.
it
That's
doesn't.
what they're trying to tell you.
It doesn't matter. That had nothing to
But
do with
okay,
U.S.
you say
currency.
it
It
doesn't
had
matter,
nothing to
but
do
What?
guess
with it.
what? But guess what? That's what the petrodollar is because it's backed by something. It's backed by oil.
Exactly, you got to
Can I
back
ask
it
him?
up with something.
Why?
Can I ask him a
Exactly.
question? Can I ask him a
Petrodollar was
question?
moving strongly before the war, right? Petrodollar was functioning, right? So at
Yes,
that
because it's
time, there
paid
was a
by
lot of
dollars.
inflation in the U.S. and there was a lot of inflation in the U.S.
Can I
Gold
ask?
And
price
then
went
guess
up.
what happened when those
Can I
things
ask him
That's
a
got
why
question?
down? The
IMF
freaking the
went to
dollar
Burkina
dropped.
Faso.
Steady, you're
So
not making sense though. You're
Yeah,
saying
no,
that
You
no,
gotta back
America
a
he
doesn't know what he's
which
currency.
part
talking
I
about.
didn't make
You
sense?
gotta
Tell
back the
me.
Can I ask you
currency
a question?
with something.
Yeah, ask me.
With something of substance, man. You know
Ask
that though,
me.
right?
No,
exactly.
somebody's talking.
So what do you
Can I
think
ask
the
him a quick
AS is
question?
doing? They have the
We
investment
can
bank
be
is
talking at
backed
the
by
same time,
uranium,
man.
by gold and oil and all the other things in the investment bank. That's what they're doing.
Ask me a question. I want to
Yeah,
listen.
but you're saying that France, even in an example you gave with Burkina Faso,
Mm-hmm.
when they overthrew Sankara, I mean Thomas Sankara, right? They
Mm-hmm.
basically had people still in the government who were semi-neutral, who didn't necessarily agree 100% with Thomas Sankara, and they used them to undermine Thomas Sankara. In the present day, you have Burkina Faso. You're saying that they understand what happened in the past, and they're trying to utilize the markets and their resources to like basically petition other global markets like Turkey, China, etc. And you're saying that it's foolish to do that, but you know in the past that France is associated with America and the IMF, and they could tank your dollar. Why would you be opposed to that when you know um, France and these other Western entities will tank your dollar if you don't diversify your resources and back it by like gold, oil, other resources which you can trade with other markets? Why would
No,
you? Why would
you see that I'm against it? I don't understand your question.
you
What is
you
your
you
question?
you're implying that it doesn't make sense what Burkina Faso is doing, but Burkina Faso is learning from history, understanding that France, the moment they try to shift their dollar or create a new currency, the global market, which is primarily controlled by the West, is going to try to tank their dollar. So they're smart enough to understand that to attempt to diversify their dollar and resources and market in general in terms of what they're investing in. That way, if whenever they do choose to switch out,
they will be able to exchange with other markets like Turkey, Saudi Arabia, other African nations, China, etc. So why would you say that it doesn't make sense when you know in the past France will take your dollar the moment you try to pull away from them?
It's if France will take your dollar when you try to
Tank,
pull away
tank,
from
tank,
them.
They'll tank your dollar,
tank.
tank your dollar.
They'll make sure that your dollar value drops, similar
Your
to what they did with
currency.
Zimbabwe,
Yeah.
right?
And
You,
then
you
Similar to what they
Mali
did with
and
Zimbabwe, similar to what they
also
did with
Guinea
you
Haiti.
did.
mean a currency to make your currency to drop, right? Is that what
Yeah,
you
Exactly.
mean?
France
Yeah.
did. They did that
Inflation,
with
but
Mali. Did
but
that
but
with Guinea.
that's what I'm saying, that they have that power to manipulate your currency, to inflate your currency and have hyperinflation in your country. So right, so if you say that you want to come off your own currency and you're not exporting compared to import, then it's a big struggle. They're gonna cause your money to be inflated.
And that's
And how
No,
what
you
they're
go how
The,
you
working
going
the
on
to get
now
some
currency
with
money?
is
the
not
Dow. They're
import by
trying to
export.
export
No,
from
So
because
that's
Africa.
why I'm saying that France, this is why they're not rushing. They know very well they have their foot on the neck of this country by
no,
having the CFA.
They
That's
There's
don't.
no
not
way they
They
can
no.
don't.
That's
escape
not
from
that.
them.
What you're saying is not
but
true, man.
CD, you do see
Hell
that the
has the
global.
neck on the
Go ahead.
on France. So hell had the neck because France is begging. They want to get back in there.
They
They want
want
to
to
go
come
back.
back. They're begging.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
begging. France is dying. They don't need no more uranium. France is dying. France is a dying country. Okay, and that's why they will do anything to get back
And
in the
then
Sahel.
and then city, you have to understand in order for
All of
people to
Europe is
believe
dying. All of Europe is dying.
in
Yes,
order for
Not just
people to
France.
believe in order for people to believe in your currency, it has to be backed by something. If it's not backed on something, people's not gonna believe in your currency. You know
and
that,
they
right,
want.
City?
That's what
Especially
I'm
in
telling you
developing
right now.
nations.
Yeah,
These things
but
used
you
to
just
happen in the
because you
back.
just sat here, and you said that what the Sahel, what the AS is doing is stupid because nothing's backed by gold. But this is not true because they have other resources besides gold. They have their uranium, they have the oil, they have other things. That's what they have
Niger
to
has a
invest in
lot
them.
of oil that hasn't been,
But that's what
that
I just
hasn't.
mentioned.
No,
I'm
CD,
telling
CD,
you,
CD.
I'm not
If
saying
if
that
the
there's
plan,
no way.
no, no.
If no
Let me
matter
let
how
me tell
you
you
have
why
the
the plan is
resources.
working. Let me tell you why the plan is working for a minute, right? Go back and watch the interview that Traore did a week ago, right? When we created our investment bank, technically we're halfway through with the currency that we're talking about, right? He just circumvent the classic route that we use, right? We created the investment bank, and we are now, we created like the gold reserve that we can use now to get all our equipment. We're building industry based on the gold, and it's working. You see, the GDP is increasing. Why? Because of these actions that was put in place. We're halfway through it. So Traore, although we're still using the CFA, the impact of the CFA in Burkina Faso is not that negative right now because we are able to maintain everything. The wealth is being contained in Burkina Faso and in the AES. Niger has a lot of oil. There is a place in the Sahel called the Three Rivers. That's why all these Canadians and Americans are fighting for it, because there's a lot of untapped minerals there. No one's know exactly what we have, like 100%.
Okay. Yeah,
So
yeah, just an
so
argument. If you say
right.
that, that's fine. You just trying
CD,
to
you're
convince yourself.
African. When people fight in an area, don't we as African ask ourselves why they own that specific place? Because we know there is a lot of resources there. That's why they're doing it.
Okay.
Go back to there is a study called the Liptako Gourmand. Read about the studies the French have done. They know there is a lot in there. That's why they can't go. Those study people, we got these studies, we got this research. We know why the terrorists are in the Sahel. They're in the specific areas that we call the Three Rivers. We know the uranium stretches all the way back to our territory. Don't mind you. What I was trying to tell you, our Burkina Faso was cut in peace in the 1930s, given to Ivory Coast, even Mali and Niger. So you are talking about. So if you're talking really about uranium, that means Burkina has uranium, technically. You know what I'm saying? We have oil, technically. So that's why we came together so we can claim all this. There is even a plan Burkina's gonna put forth regarding the oil in Niger. We're gonna use it to our benefit. You see what I'm saying? Instead of Niger just doing it by itself. So these are the plan we put in place. The currency is going to happen. Trust me, we can't do it without a currency, but we're not going to put a currency, a weak one. We want a competing currency. Not only a currency, we need a competing currency because we believe that we have what it takes to back it, in order to, to create wealth for our people. It's not going to be like I said, it's not going to be a reactionary president, a group of reactionary president getting together, hating the West and creating something weak just to make a political stunt. That's not what we're trying to do. We are very serious about it, and give them a chance and see exactly what's going to come after that. A country that's telling you they're putting $64 billion for the next 5 years based on gold revenue. I mean, you got to look into it like this is a plan. This is not a joke. And we can quantify that.
This is what we are praying for. We want it to succeed by all means, because the history show that other countries have tried. Mali tried before, it did not work.
Yeah,
but
but
I
you
think
you got to learn from your mistakes.
Burkina probably is on the right track, and hopefully we want them to dump the CFA.
Have you read any of Thomas Sankara's book?
Not really, not necessarily, but I've read that.
Please do read one. You will find the coding of the same people that was telling you it's not possible. IMF, World Bank. That kid beat all the expectation before he passed away. That's why they got him out of there, because he was putting us on the map left and right. He didn't use the classic system they put in place for Africans. He saw it real quick. And there was a guy, when you say there was not a military example in Africa, Gaddafi was a military. He had one of the best countries in Africa before he got taken out. That's a fact. So Sankara, what I would like for you to do when you want to compare Traore, please compare him to his idol. That's what the Burkinabes are doing. I know we had military regimes in Africa that didn't do right by the people. I get it. We can have those arguments. We want to hold this guy to the standards of Thomas Sankara. That's it. That's what we pray. That's what we want. And we will push for it. So, I mean, whatever. You see, I love Africa. If this guy wasn't doing the things that was supposed to put us on the map, do you think me in America benefiting from capital? People talk, Brandon was talking about capitalism. What is capitalism? Capitalism is practicing the AES. We got foreign investment in the AES. What is he talking about?
No, capitalism got nothing to do with democracy.
I know, but he's talking about capitalism. Capitalism. Capitalism in the AES. We got foreign company. Who's right now? We are signing. Let me finish this one. We are signing a new contract with the gold mine, right? CD, who's exploiting the mines in the AES, especially in Burkina Faso? What company? What country is there? Do you know?
I'm not sure. Probably South Africa.
Canada.
Okay.
In Mali too, the biggest gold mine in Mali and Burkina. All these mines are run by Canadians. That's why we get them. Traore only drafted a plan for them, because we can't take the mines. We cannot do that. But once it ends, the new program will kick in for them, and that will be more revenue for the country.
Yeah, but that's why a lot of people don't understand. I want these guys to succeed. As long as France has his leg on this guy's neck, is going to be very, very tough. And the only time France will take it serious when they're breaking away from the CFA, and that's the only way France, West Africa will
can I say something to CD real quick? CD, that doesn't. Why would you quickly remove yourself from the CFA, knowing that they're going to tank your dollar? One, why would you quickly have elections when you know they have people that's loyalists to them within your nation that will probably get flooded with money, and they can take power and take it totally back to France? So
I'm not rushing for election. I'm not rushing for election at all. We know countries that have free and fair election. First of all, look at a country like Ghana. What election is doing for Ghana? It's not taking it anywhere. So
I hear you. But I'm not necessarily.
Yeah. Ghanaians want to come. What election is doing for them? It's not doing anything for them. But we just
want
you to
Louis
say what
is going to come back, man. Louis is going to come back. I'm telling you. Because Louis is going to come back. I'm telling you, get ready.
Because the fact is, the reason I'm saying this, since the white boy, Jerry Rowley, I'm sorry to say that he's a white man. He was the one that helped Ghana to put Ghana on track. But since he left, they have me free and fair election. What it make any difference? No.
See, that's
the reality.
Bro. You're calling him a white man. Then you're just ignoring that he's black too. Come on, man.
He's a Scottish man. He's a Scottish.
But is he not half black?
No,
He's mixed. He's mixed. He's mixed
but if
African.
in Ghana, when you follow your mom, his mom is Scottish, so he's a white man, right?
Is it mom? Oh, you said his father was Scottish. I'm confused now.
I think his
Hey,
mom is mom.
Okay,
man,
cool.
can other people speak,
Ben,
man?
sorry, go on, bro.
So
Man, who is next before me? Man, who is next before me? Because I don't want to skip other people.
Just go ahead, man. Go,
Go ahead,
go,
go
brother.
ahead. No, I don't know what's in it.
Okay, let me say this real quick, right? Because I'm not going to stay for too long. I refer myself as what you call it, Captain Africa, right? We have other people that are from America that refer themselves as Captain America Negroes. We got some Africans that truly, to me, in their belief system, they are Captain America Africans. You understand me, right? So that ideology is two different things, totally two different ideology, right? We might have the same skin color, might come from the same tribes, everything, but the belief system is not the same thing. I mean, some of these people that come up here and talk nasty about Burkina Faso, right? A couple years ago, they couldn't even know where Burkina Faso was at on the map. They probably have never even pronounced the name Burkina Faso in their entire mouth. But they come up here on social media constantly telling us what Burkina Faso should do for their people. You understand me, right? Everything like Burkina Faso should do this and that, right? And stuff like that. Just like how you got some Africans that come up here as well, right? I mean, let's be real. If you're a champion of America, right? Let it be. But if you want to use the example of America as a democracy, you being a black person, where has that so-called democracy have truly uplift your people in a position of authority? Never.
But bang it,
Never.
it kind of has because
No,
them
hold on,
advocating for.
no. Because anything that they do, the white man has to say yes, go ahead and do it. The white man has to approve it as well.
but
Let's be fair.
Ben, I'm not cutting you off. You don't think if people talk about
Let me.
Burkina is a good
No,
thing, that means they're doing well? If black people
no.
talking about you, which
I
means
know
you're
why
doing
they say
well,
that.
right?
I know why they say that. That's why in the beginning I refer myself as Captain Africa. You understand me, right? Two different people, two different ideology. Go look it up. American Negroes, Captain American Negroes versus Captain Africa. Two different things. It's like you going north and I'm going south. We are not the same people. We are not the same people. We don't have the same belief. You understand me, right? We don't have the same belief. And then they keep screaming and hollering about democracy in America, right? So if you're screaming and hollering about democracy in America, right? Let's look at your people. Where have they gotten position of power wise? Have they gotten the same position of power that they truly deserve? No. So how is that a democracy then? How you want to come and tell us about democracy then? And all these crap and stuff like that. And then what these people don't understand is, right, they know the same America goes to other people's countries and steal their resource on the left, their president, and put in somebody that says, oh, yeah, yes, sir, right? So at the end of the day, if your country is so super nice, why do they need to go to other countries and then kidnap presidents or like overthrow other countries for them to be successful? So which means now your country is not a democracy at all, because your country got to go to another country and disable them as much as possible so that they could get whatever they want in that country as well. And look at your people in America. Look how they've been treated for years upon years, right? I mean, let's be real. They have never become a president. I've never seen a dollar bill with their face on it. How is that democracy then? But your people helped build this country to what it is, right? So
Hold on,
how are
hang
you
on.
going to tell
Let me
us?
just read this. Hey, guys, let me read this super chat real quick. City has dementia. Old man is not making any point. Okay.
How you going to tell us as me? I refer myself as Captain Africa, right? Because in the end of the day, it is our land. It is our land. If our land is not benefit us, why would we continue the same procedure? Why would we continue that? Why would I sit there and then allow poor Burkina Faso, Niger, Mali for years, and then all of a sudden, when their country has a projector going up, and I'm coming up here trying to tell you, oh, you know what? They should do this, they should do that. No, because you know why? When they were down, I didn't speak about it. I didn't vote up. I didn't protest it. I didn't go to the to the so-called like where I'm supposed to go for for these people to get better. When France was taking the uranium and selling it back to the same Europeans for double profit, where were these people at? Where were these people at coming out here and telling us, oh, France need to build, nuclear reactor? 90% of Niger was in darkness. 90%. 90% for over 50 years. So how can I still come up here and then try to tell these same people, you know what? You should go to vote. You should go and select your president. I mean, look at it, right? You want to compare? Look at California, right? California, we're trying to build a speed train since 2008. Where's that project at? Where's the so-called democracy at? I mean, elite people got the money because what they did was they funded the money back to themselves. So they took your hard-working money and funded it right back to them. Where's the speed train at? Where's the speed train at?
That's what I said.
Democracy. That is democracy. I mean, people said, "Oh, at least we got like what you call it? Biden comes in office, Trump comes in office, Obama comes in, or Bush comes in office. We are getting the same result because you know why? These people all they do is just fund wars and then unalive innocent people in their countries as well. And then they do anything just to maintain the world power. Because that's what America is. America is a dictatorship. If you're a dictatorship, you're not a democracy. I mean, our president keeps saying it. We go to other countries to take their shit. How is that a democracy? And then when they take their shit, you don't benefit in it.
But Ben, I have a quick question for you, Ben. I have a quick question for you. The thing is, you don't think if Burkina was not relevant, people would talk about it? The country is important right now. If you see people talking about a specific country, which means they are important, they're doing something good. So we don't just come here and talk. This is one of the biggest examples for all African. We want it to be to be successful. That's why we talk about it. That's why everything that we are concerned about, we talk about it. We are not saying it's not going to happen, but we are a little bit concerned. Everything that we think that we are concerned about, we discuss it.
It's okay to ask questions, man.
City. Let me ask you a question because I'm not gonna be here for too long, man. I gotta go work out because one of these days, man, I gotta hit some of my enemies in the stomach. But anyway, right? That's a good question. You see, the problem is, right? Africans don't have the belief to create their own power system, to create their own entity that is not attached to the white man. Africans think everything must be attached to the white man for us to be successful. See, that's the problem. It's the belief. It's the belief. Most Africans don't have the belief. Most Africans think we must attach to these people for us to be successful. You cannot attach to these people for you to be truly powerful. You see how they treat Black Americans in this country. You see how they treat Black people in this country for over 400 years. How do you expect the same people to empower African continents? The same African continents that benefits them for decades, for centuries. What does France has? No goddamn gold, no goddamn oil, no goddamn uranium, no goddamn nothing. So which means that their God did not bless them. So how can I come sit here and then I want us to be attached to these people? You see it in America. That is not a democracy. So to me, I am Captain Africa until I die. Man. You understand it, man? It's a two different belief system. You are Captain America, Africa, right? You going north, I'm going south. You and I are not the same thing. You are Captain America Negro. You and I are not the same.
Hold on.
East, I'm going west. It's not the same belief system. Ibrahim Traore is our president. Who don't like it could go to effing hell.
That's right.
I don't care because I know how corrupt African leaders are. I come from a family from it. I've seen it. Man. We are corrupt.
Yeah.
The system need to be destroyed.
Do you know still today in the United States Constitution, they still have Black people as 3/5 of a man? Do you know that?
No, that's not true. That's not. But hold on, let me defend CD real quick because when he's saying that democracy didn't contribute nothing into the upliftment of Black people in America, that's not true. That's why a lot of Africans and Caribbeans even come here is because African Americans fought for more rights, utilizing democracy and different mechanisms to gain like laws and power here. I do agree.
No. That is a lie.
Let him finish. Go ahead. I want to ask you a question as well. But go.
That is a lie. That is an absolute lie.
No, wait.
That is an absolute lie.
Let me just ask you a question. Just let me
tell you why. Right?
Let me ask you a question. Just ask me a question.
Hold on. Let me finish, please. I'm about to go. Let me finish, please. A lot of people do not focus on the Cold War. Do not. What the United States government did, right? They use these Black faces to act like, look what we doing to Black folks here. So they use these people around the world, especially in African countries. You understand me, right? During the Cold War, because during the Cold War, the United States was trying to what you call it?
They were trying to
Convert
core
other
Africa in the
countries.
black world. Yes, that's true.
You understand me, right?
Yeah, I
You
understand that.
understand me, right? So the countries that did not resist it, like countries like what you call it? Vietnam, and then North Korea. North Korea, right? They went to war with these countries as well. Because how can you still sell democracy and human rights around the world, but at the same time, the countries that resist you, you went and fought them. You went and fought them so you could put somebody in position of power that can say exactly what you want. That's why you have the Vietnam War. That's why you have the North Korea War. You understand me, right? These are countries that resisting them. So at the end of the day, black folks did not fight for African, freedom, right? They were used. They were used because
No.
the
I
same
said
black
they
folks
fought for
did
their
not
rights
have the
here.
right.
Here. We talking
Yes,
about here.
let me say this, man. Listen.
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Wait, Bank, are you done?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
go
let's
ahead, go ahead.
I don't
My bad.
disagree with you, Princip. Princip, right? I don't forgot. Is that your name?
Yeah, Principe, same thing. It means principle in Creole and
Gosh,
French.
listen, I don't
Principe
disagree
the
with you.
Haitian. Oh man, Principe, man.
Listen,
How you
I don't
been?
disagree with
It
you.
was good.
I just
I'm
think
chilling,
the
bro.
thing is that listen, the African Americans had to also fight their right in the country. That wasn't just only democracy. It was also they had to fight. They had to get killed. A lot of people had to get killed, bro. How many times is what I'm saying? It's not that democracy doesn't work, but there's always a blood to pay. And they did fight for a lot of Africans, but they had to fight their own system for that even to happen.
That's
and
true.
Therefore, the same thing in Vietnam. The only thing that's shown to actually work to maintain sovereignty, here's an example. Iran. I've seen the streets of Iran look better than most of these African countries who are, democratic. And they ran a war. Even after war, they still look better. How the heck is that even possible? Because they
because America doesn't export democracy. They want like a puppet kind of leader that way they get whatever they want.
That's my point. It's so it's kind of like it's not that. Honestly, I don't even think maybe me and Bang disagree, but I'm not even saying I disagree with the democracy. I disagree with America's exporting because they're not they're exporting war. Okay, they always export war because they want to maintain control.
They export a lot of corruption too. They export a lot of. They like corrupt leaders. That way they
exactly. And those corrupt leaders from those African countries, most of them, not only the Americans but also the British, they inherited the systems from the British and the French. So a lot of them are in power.
Exactly.
Right now, they're in power. They look like, again, I remember Banks said this. Look at their names. Okay, you can read their names, you know exactly who they were. A lot of these were colonialists during the colonial times, and they're still colonialists now. They're just black colonialists. And that's my point. That's why they fear like people like him, because at the end of the day, you just gotta be honest. If he can change it under those conditions, what the people are gonna start questioning you in your own country. That's kind of the thing we're trying to get there. Go on.
That's true. Y'all both right.
Exactly.
Ben is right too. Ben is right. But my thing is just that
let's be fair. America is an empire. Let's be fair. That's what it is. Just like how the British Empire was about 20, 50 years. That's what America is currently as we speak. That's what America is by core. Let's be honest with ourselves, man. America, the white folks came up here and then on the left, millions of Indians took their lives, took everything from them, and then create the civilization, and then go around the world doing the same thing to other nations as well. So how can you come and tell me as a Captain Africa for me to surrender what God gave me as an African because some white European wants to come up there and they take it until the end of time? Come on now, I'm gonna support any African that says no to it, and then it's all about development. Their people come first. That's what I'm about. Africa development. Your people come first. You can come from other countries and work with Africans and work with African countries. Nothing wrong with that. But you're not gonna take advantage of us. Because once the leader says no, you're not going to take advantage of our resource and our people. That's when the West come in and tell you, oh, democracy, human right. I say hell to the no with that. I say hell to the no with that. And just like I said the other day, if you don't like it as an African, if you don't like it as a black American, go pick up arms, go against Ibrahim Traore and see what's going to happen to you. That's all it is. Because at the end of the day, if you're going to come and scream for human rights, democracy, scream for that for your own people in America that helped develop this country right here. But at the same time, half the power, 99%, almost 90% of the power does not go through your people. Because everything else you spend go right back to the white man. So how's that democracy then? I want to see a black person. I want to see a black person on that dollar bill. That is a democracy.
Okay, yes. Hey, my brother, can I say something? I think what is happening in Africa, if you compare, can we compare Traore to Sierra Leone president? No. Sierra Leone president is far below Traore. And Sierra Leoneans, the citizens, Burkinabe people are more loyal to their country than Sierra Leoneans. Sierra Leone is a client state. We all know that. You've been having a diamond for all these years. You never built nothing in Sierra Leone. So I see like if I see Africans, they only focus on Traore because Traore is a Western target. Why can't you go the country you call them a democracy? Go see them. What do they build in their country? Traore built more factories in Burkina than any West African country. We all know this. Practically, we can see it. Traore is more popular. His people support him more than any West African president. The so-called democracy. They're not democratic. They steal election. It's like somebody who stole things from you, broad daylight, and then they call them democracy. They make a law in a way they can only contest themselves. So I don't get it. City, when you guys come here, why can't you go to Sierra Leone and bring that issue to the table here? Because Traore is far better than your president.
But
Burkinabe people,
can I ask you a question though? In
He's
defense,
from
Sydney?
Liberia. He's
Hold on,
from
hold on.
Liberia.
hold on,
Let him finish. Let him finish. Let him
He's
finish.
from
Let him finish.
Liberia.
Let him finish. Let him finish.
let me finish.
Go ahead.
Okay, look at okay. What do we consider democracy? These Western countries, these people have what they call a democracy with a imperialism setting. That's what they do. They cannot support you. They will not support you if you're not their puppet. Look at even North Africa, right? North Africa, the reason why even Algeria, 40 million, Nigeria, 200 something million. Algeria has a more military power than Nigeria. Algeria can go to Russia and buy a weapon there. Nothing happened to them. But in Nigeria, you cannot go. You black, all right? So even the trade deal, these Western countries give to North Africa. They don't give the same trade benefit to what they call a sub-Saharan Africa. Go study these
Preach,
things.
preach,
All
preach.
right. If you look at the Agoa is a slave plantation. But our so-called the one you call them a democratic country, they can't even fight it. But North African country, look at them. They're more developed than any West African country. Why?
Preach.
And we claim to have a democracy. Bro, go read what is a democracy. Democracy, what you know of in Africa, it doesn't exist. Europeans, they will jump you. If they come for you, they always gang up on you and give you negative image. If you win election today, you don't bound to their agenda. What they will do? They will sponsor this, a mercenary opposition. These
Preach.
African, they are mercenary oppositions. In smaller country, you have a 100, 200, 300 political parties who are funding them, NGOs. And then if they make a coalition, they have to come on the banner of a Western puppet agenda. This is what is happening in Africa. So, South Africa today, they have a 300, a 600 political parties. And then based on tribal movement, like if you are a tribe, they fund you, you create a political party to create more division. Look at Haiti. Even though they all want it in a group, right? But they find a way to create a 282 political party in Haiti.
No, it's more.
To
It's more.
create
300. 300. It's 300. It's
okay,
more than that.
all right, 300. So it's like they create chaos in those countries. They're funding these political parties, small political parties. And everybody is claiming to be the Democrat. So you
Yo,
guys
yo,
are
yo,
still
that's interesting.
you
Yeah,
guys
yeah,
are
good
still
point.
yeah, you guys are still struggling to know what is democracy. I think you guys are in third grade. These Africans, most of them are foreign assets. Either your father or your parents, your uncle is in the government, you support it no matter what. So some of them they are
No,
doing it just on tribe. This is a fact. So
they're
it
not
doesn't
in
matter.
third grade. They're not
Now,
in
Yo,
third grade. What they're trying
and
to
that's what
do
I
is
can.
they're trying to persuade other people why their systems to continue because the
Yeah, but
system benefits them.
who will
So they're
say?
not in
Who will
third
say?
grade. They know exactly
Demo,
what you're saying is right,
yeah,
but it
yeah,
is a
but
belief
Hold,
system
hold,
in them,
hold,
and
hold,
then
hold on,
and
Ben.
then
Let,
it benefits
let him
them.
cook. Let him cook. Let him cook. Let him
let me
cook.
finish.
That's
Yeah,
that's exactly what it
most of
is.
most of them they have.
Don't act like they're not. They
My
don't have
brother,
a brain
let me finish.
because most African
Hold on,
presidents.
Ben.
Let me,
Ben. Let him finish. Let him finish. Let me finish.
most of them they have an internal tribal problem. Some of them, either religion or tribal thing, or they have somebody in the government who lose the power. So now what they do, they find something to blame. If you look at it, for example, Traore, he's fighting T group. Jane is fighting T group, but why you don't hear Jane issue? Why? They're all fighting the same imperialism, right? But why they only concentrate on Traore? You know there's an agenda, right? So I mean, no matter how you try to hide your agenda, people will read you, people will know you. So this nonsense they bring is a fake. And the Western media now they are even sponsoring, they are all their embassies they are promoting, you can't go against what they call the anti-Western. So they are funding African influencers to go promote some kind of agenda that goes against Africa. And you're gonna face us here. We are in social media. We will expose you daily. So these are the problem. Africans are themselves are the problem because you always have to sell out in every area in Africa. If you compare Traore to any African president today, he defeated all of them. A smaller country, a poor country like a Burkina Faso. But look at what they achieved today. No country in West Africa. No. Look, I mean, coup happened in Guinea-Bissau. Do you hear anybody talk about it? No. But they accepted. ECOWAS accepted. You had the election and you lost. But what happened? They want to legitimize you. You coup yourself. That's the highest of the scammers. So that's what I have to say.
True.
Yeah,
Look
can I
at Guinea.
comment? I ain't get to
Look at
comment
Guinea.
yet. Can I make a
Look at
comment
Guinea,
real quick?
right?
Can I
Look
make a
at Guinea,
comment real
right?
quick? I ain't get
Let
to
the new
comment
person
yet.
speak, bro. Man, let him
Yeah,
speak.
go ahead. My bad.
I ain't get to talk at all.
My bad.
Basically, I just want to make a couple points, and then you guys could have the table. Basically, what I want to say is that you guys have to be careful about how you speak about the AES Alliance and Traore and Goita and all of them, because the way the West works is they did the same thing with Gaddafi. They laid a propaganda and the groundwork through their media by talking bad about Gaddafi, and they brainwashed all of y'all to talk bad about Gaddafi. So then when they go in for him, nobody says nothing. So you guys gotta be careful about attacking the AES Alliance. That's my first point I gotta make. Now the second point I gotta make is that when you study the AES Alliance, if you look at Traore and all of them, they came to power after the assassination of President Moses. Now, if you look at them, they studied Haiti, and the assassination of President Moses affected them a lot. And if you look at it, they got the same system that Haiti got. All they did is they got Dessalines. Haiti had Jean-Jacques Dessalines. The people chose him. And once they chose him and followed him, he protected them and against the Western freedom. They just chose a military leader because democracy has been exposed. Democracy has been exposed. What they did is they chose a military leader. The people elected him as president and as commander-in-chief, instead of a civilian. As simple as that. And when you have a system where you elect somebody from the military to represent your nation that the people choose, it's more powerful because they'll defend it. And it's not a politician who's going to be able to buy out and sell out. It's not a politician that the banksters or whoever's going to be able to come and buy out and sell out when you elect a civilian or a business or a politician as a leader. It's different when you elect a military man as a leader. It's not a coup where they force him to take power. I'm not talking about a coup where a military guy comes to take power or nothing. I'm talking about where the people pick a military guy and elect him and put him in power as their leader, commander-in-chief like Dessalines to lead them. That's a powerful system, okay? Now, what another thing I gotta say about your democracy is Haiti was the first one to have a democracy. So Haiti has had a lot of experience with the democracy. And what I'm gonna tell you all about your democracy is, if you don't control your banks, democracies don't matter. It's about who's controlling the banks. That's what matters. Those are the ones who really run the democracies. and put people in power. And I'm not gonna say the exact group of people who run the banks, but they've been in power since ages. They're the custodians, and they're the ones who elect the politicians and elect and they set it up. And when you look at it, the English Revolution. We're going to look at the English Revolution. The English Revolution, that was supposed to be the setup of a parliament, right? When you look at it, Oliver Cromwell was working for these people and helped them establish it. So it was the people who won the banks who set up the parliament. So they the one who controlled the democracies. And then when you look at it again, at the French Revolution, look at the French Revolution, Napoleon. Who was behind Napoleon? Rothschild. Who was behind the whole French Revolution that supposedly brought us democracy? Now, when you look at America's Revolution, it was by white settler colonialists. They got the power, but when you look at it, they completely disenfranchised the black people because they disenfranchised them by they completely disenfranchised them through chattel slavery, and they pretend to this democracy, but when you look at it, they destroyed all the black towns, and then after the civil rights movement, when they say they gave black people power to democracy, they used the civil rights bills again to destroy black towns. Now, look at Haiti. Haiti was the first black slave revolution, republic. Haiti was the only true revolution, but when you look at Haiti, they fucking used the fucking bank to keep Haiti down and made us pay independence, and we ain't even want to pay, and they trick us, and they got people through the bank and shit to fucking cripple us with this fake independence reparation debt that we was forced to pay. And then when you look at it, America, Haiti's been trying to have a democracy, but America's been destabilizing the democracy because what happened is they want cope because they don't want the same way they disenfranchised the black Americans, they disenfranchised the Haitians the same way. And when you look at the Berlin Conference, they delegated Africa as a resource colony for the industrialization they was about to do, and they kept Africa that way. If you look at Africa, let's look at the independence that you got through democracy, right? They gave you all fake independence after with democracies. That was all fake independence. And once again, I'm gonna say it again, they messed up by not following Kwame Nkrumah and what he was trying to establish, right? Now, we're going to talk about democracy. Yeah, they gave us fake independence. When you look at the Burkina Faso, France, they fucking took all their stuff. They booked everything before they left. They had them under the CFA frame, taking all their money. You know what I'm saying? It was real dumb, stupid. And they got this French-Afrique shit where they fucking try to have Haiti under trust because they control you. If you speak French-Afrique, they try to keep you colonialized. Now, I'm gonna give the only bad thing about AES is that it exposed Africa. Because honestly, between me and you, if Africa really practiced Pan-Africanism, after they formed that alliance, it should have booked everything and the rest should have joined instead of fucking they trying to go to war, Nigeria trying to go to war with them and all of them. They should have fucking joined them because they exposed the fucking neo-colonialism and the sophistication that a lot of people can't see. They exposed it and Pan-Africanism, they exposed Africa because African mentality isn't ready for this, man. Because they should have fucking broke the whole ECOWAS. All of them should have joined along with the AES, but only 3 joined. Screw it, and now they doing whatever. But I don't want to go into long. I make those couple points, but I'm gonna let you guys.
I think, brother, I think it makes sense, man. One thing I want to say something that you mentioned. Or you cannot get independent from the West if you don't have a monetary sovereignty, right? All these West Africans, especially Francophone Africans, as long as you have CFA, you are not independent. right? The reason why when they talk about APAC in America, the reason why 94% of the American politicians is elected by APAC, they get money from the Jews, right? That's why when Israel always get almost $300 billion, military supervision from America. So as long as if you are not monetarily independent, you have no independence. And I will say this over again. As long as all these AES countries have CFA, is they are not fully independent, right? If they make an attempt to break away from CFA, that's the time you see France standing up. That's why they're not even rushing. If you see all these French African, West African countries, they didn't even struggle for their independence, right? Some of their leaders was working with the French government. So what France decided to do, they created a monetary system where none of these countries can able to escape from it,
That's not true. Most of these countries
Hold on,
ask
Prince,
right?
for
Prince,
to
Prince,
sell
So
goods.
so let me finish.
Let
Let
me
me finish.
let him finish.
Let me
I'm gonna
get my
respond to him.
point.
Man, I'm gonna
No, let
respond
me
to him
finish.
points I make.
So
Yeah, go ahead.
so
Finish.
it's in the, we want good for these guys. We want them to succeed. There are several countries they try it, they fail. Mali tried, they try to break away from CFA, they failed. Guinea tried, they went through hell, they were successful. So if first of all, independent cannot go without having financial freedom. You cannot escape from them. So we all waiting to see the institution these guys going to curate, right? Because right now all these are import countries. The three countries they don't export. They all import. 90% of what they get they import. So if you say, well, you want to have your own currency, you have to back it up with something. So we all watching them and see, and I want them to succeed. But as long as that monetary aspect of independent that they want to achieve, as long as this on a CFA, they are not fully independent. So we all
Okay,
waiting to see that. But
okay.
yeah, Ben, give your question.
Yeah. Let me say this right. When you have a child,
Yeah, there you
a
have
newborn
question,
child, right?
right? Just go straight up to your question. Yep.
No. I got a statement, right? Real quick, right?
Is a
When you got
question
a
or is a
child, right?
statement?
It's a statement.
Okay. Oh
It's a
no, but
statement.
then yeah, nothing to do with me. Okay.
No. It's it does
Okay.
because it seems like you stuck on this CFA thing, right? As if it's like a lifetime thing, like somebody
Well,
cannot
yeah.
get away from it, right? But hold on, I'm coming, right? When you have a child, right? A newborn child, right? Usually, you gotta feed them and all that, and then as time goes on, that child started crawling, right? From crawling, that child started walking slowly and slowly, right? And then one day, that child fully knows how to walk, right? Do that child go back to crawling? No, that child goes back to walking straight and then keep growing, keep going, keep growing. That's what the AES are doing. The AES are laying the foundation. That's why Ibrahim Traore said we never had a gold reserve since ever since we had all this gold in our land, right? You have to build the foundation first, right? You understand me, right? That's why you see all these three countries, they start having a gold reserve. You have to have a gold reserve. It's very important. And then the great thing about these countries, they have gold, endless gold, right? So which means now they could use their gold to purchase a lot of things, and a lot of what some Africans not telling you, right? Let's just say you do a coup in the 90s, right? Or in the 80s, right? Just by yourself, and you don't have a neighbor country that did a coup just like you, right? Because it becomes very difficult for you to what I'm saying, like sustain your country, because the West they're gonna sanction you. You can't go to Russia, you can't go to China, because in the 90s or the 80s, these countries, they were not powerful. So you had to go through the West. You had to go through the West tremendously. You had to. But now it is totally the opposite. Totally the opposite. So when you're comparing coups in the 90s or in the 80s, it's not the same thing. And then Africa had never had a coup when you had three countries that share borders, right? That made on one unified nation. As you know what? Whatever happened to you, we're gonna come and support you. Whatever happened to you, we're gonna come and support you. You understand me, right? Just like how Mali had the fuel crisis with his T groups, right? When it was supported by the French and then the Westerners, right? What happened then? Niger came and rescued Mali with a ton of oil, with a ton of gas. You understand me, right? Just like how they create their own army as well. They keep building this army as well, right? Unified army as well, right? Just like how they create their own investment bank. You have to create your own investment bank first. That's very important. And it takes time because you got to keep putting money into it as well. Gold reserve as well. It's very important. You just don't go wake up one day
But
and say,
Ben, investment bank, investment bank is not
let me finish.
responsible for currency. That's the
No,
part I don't
no,
understand when you say
let me
investment
finish.
bank.
Let me
What that
finish. Let me
means?
finish. Let me finish. The way you're putting it as if like France is not ready yet. If France is ready, they're gonna definitely stop this country where they're gonna try to get away. I mean, are you kidding me? Have you seen the news? What's going on? Have you seen what France have attempted?
No,
Do
I'm
you
not
know that
saying.
there's a
No, listen, I'm not saying
no?
that. You didn't.
I mean,
Let
you're
me
not seeing that.
clarify that.
Are you not seeing that, right? Are you
Let
not
me
seeing that?
clarify
At the
that,
same
Ben.
time, you said, because the way you could put into these CFA franc as if it's like a lifetime thing that
Oh
these
yeah, of
countries
course.
cannot get it. No, how's oh my God, our paper money that's just attached to foreign. Come on, man, city. Let's be honest with ourselves, man. You smart enough. You're not a stupid guy.
Why you think
You're not a
Zimbabwe is
stupid
going
guy.
through hell, Ben?
That's not the same thing.
Why you think
These
Zimbabwe
countries.
is going
Oh
through
my
hell?
God.
Because they inflated
Oh
their money. There's a
my God.
hypercurrency inflation in Zimbabwe.
Yeah, but
So they
City, but
can
you have
manipulate
to
your
I just
currency
you
gave
have
to
to
you
destroy
everything.
you.
understand
I just
you
gave
have
you
to make
everything. You
mistakes
even
so you
said
can
these countries,
early learn
90% of
from the
these
new ones.
countries, everything they get is from outside. No,
Yo,
they're
can I say
creating their own
something real
things.
quick? Can I say something
No,
real quick?
but
Come
All
that's
I
what
on,
want
I'm
to say,
saying.
bro. Can I say one thing real quick, bro, to you, boy?
man.
I want to say to you about your Zimbabwe comment. You got to understand
No, you
they
was gonna try to
control the
bring up
economy.
something that happens in the 90s when these countries did not have no say. They didn't have no other options as well. And then Zimbabwe. Let me tell you something, right? If it was Botswana and Zimbabwe and Namibia, right, came together, right? You can't stop these countries. But Zimbabwe, it was only
They're by
them
themselves.
and
They were
them
isolated.
only.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Just like
You
Haiti.
cannot
Haiti, when they got
isolate
their
these three
independence,
countries, man,
it
that
was
has
isolated.
gold. You cannot,
Fact.
man.
Yeah, that's
You
Facts.
true.
cannot, man. Come on, man.
That's
It's
fact.
impossible.
All right, Ben. Let me ask you this, right? All these three countries, none of them have a seat. They have to go through all these other West African countries to import, right? So
Yes.
if you say if look if they were to get one country that have a seaport, yeah, that would make things a little bit flexible for them. But as long as they are surrounded by enemy that they call enemy, so-called enemy, it's going to be difficult.
But you
No,
gotta
let me tell you
It's a
why.
understand,
difficult
City,
process.
Let
it
me tell
I'm
you
not
takes
why.
saying
Let me
it's
tell you
time.
why.
not
That's
Let me tell you
listen,
it's
why.
not
Let me tell
City,
you why.
achievable.
City,
Let me tell
City.
you why.
It
Hold
is
on, hold on,
Let
Ben.
me
possible
tell you
I
to
why.
got you one
achieve.
second.
No,
Hold
no,
on,
no. Let me tell you why.
hold on.
Let
Give
me
me
tell you
like 10
why.
seconds. Hold on. Say, Ben, I
Go ahead,
got
go
you.
ahead.
You have to understand, City, because you're talking
I
about these
mean,
ports. No, no, no.
this is
Listen, hold on,
argument. We're
City.
just
Hold
trying
on, hold on,
to
City, City,
argue. This
City.
is not like
City,
we are
listen,
fighting.
City.
We're just trying
City,
to see
listen,
how
City,
best can it be
City, City,
solved.
listen, City. You said that because they might be in trouble because they have the ports. You have to understand, right? The
No, I don't
AES
say
went.
they will
Well,
be in
listen,
trouble.
hold on.
I'm
Wait,
not
hold
saying
on.
they will be in trouble.
Wait,
Listen, City, what's wrong with you, man? Let him
Hold
speak.
on. Let me explain. Hold on. The AES went and they studied ECOWAS and they studied NATO. You know the two mistakes that they done? They got too many countries came together at a short period of time. That's why they have the problems that they have now. What the AES is doing, they're building the foundation with development. As you know, soon they're going to connect the roads and then the trains together. So what happens is when they bring another country in, for example, if they bring Togo in, and they're going to connect the roads and connect the trains. So what's going to happen is even if someone else came into power, they say it's backed by France, they can't just pull out because if they pull out, it's going to destroy them economically. So that's what they're
But
working on. So yeah,
yeah,
Okay.
but
hold on, Bang. That's what they're working on.
Yeah,
But
but Ben, I want you to understand
yeah,
investment
but
bank.
hold on,
When you say
city,
investment
man,
bank is. So
city,
let me clarify
city.
that. You say investment bank. Investment bank is not responsible for any foreign currency or local currency. They are not responsible. They are there for project to finance project.
No,
So when you
no,
say they
no,
work
no.
on investment bank, I don't understand that part. What do you mean?
No. Investment bank is very important. It's very important. It's very
It is
important. Yes.
important, but
Hold on.
investment bank is
It's
used for
critical.
getting
It's
money for
critical. It's
project.
no. No. Investment bank is critical. It's critical. Don't
All
try
right,
to
man.
downplay it, right? Don't try to downplay it. Like us living in America, right? One of the greatest things about America, right? You can say anything you want about America, right? But to me, one of the greatest thing is the access to capital. The access to capital, the way you could just get money and then invest in in so many other things. To me, it is the number one thing. Even people that work billions of dollars use investment bank access to capital. That to me, that is the number one thing about America. You can say anything that you want, but the access to capital, that's the problem with Africa, right? We don't have access to capital. That's what slow our development. You understand me, right? Everything in Africa is designed like that to Africa not to be prosperous. Everything. You have to break that system. You have to. If you have gold, that's real money. That's real money. You understand, right? Eventually, the more gold reserve that you have, if you create any type of paper money, because let's be fair, money, like physical money, is just paper. It's just paper. The reason why
All
it's
right,
valuable
man.
is because
All
of
right, Dan. Good night, man. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. I'm tired, man. Good night.
you can't win this night. You can't
No,
win
man,
this
me,
battle
I'm
no more.
tired.
No. You can't. We up here, right? We up here. We are
It,
Captain Africa.
hey,
You can't win
it's
it.
it's
We
it's
too
a
small
it's
for
a
that,
it's a
man. We
debate.
too
It's a
small for that.
debate.
No.
People.
We too small for that. City. This not the 90s no more, man. Everybody has social media. Everybody has smartphones, right? We receive information. You can call your village right now, City. They can tell you exactly what's going on. If something happened in your village, if something break down, they can call you right now and say, yo, something's happening in our village, man. They can send you pictures as well. You can even call a video chat and see exactly what's going on. This is not the 90s or the early 2000s, man. We up to
All right.
date, man. We
Good
don't
night, man.
play. Your generation destroy Africa, man, because I can tell you much older. I can tell
Yeah,
you much older.
they did.
People like
This is
you,
all
No,
these
your
men. They
generation
no,
they
destroy
no,
know
no,
Africa.
that
no, Ben.
before.
It's
Your
not a
generation
matter
destroy
of it.
Africa.
You don't even know. No, Ben.
No. Your generation destroy Africa for people like us. For people like us. But we're going to fight for, because you
Ben,
know why? We want
everything
Oh,
that
our
I
kids
talk
Ben,
to be
about
he's very
here,
prosperous.
I
distinct.
get it through reading. I
Very
get it
distinct.
through
No.
reading and knowledge. Let me
We
tell you
all
that
do too. We
I'm
all do
telling you
too.
right now.
We
So
all do
everything
too.
that
But look
I
at
talk
French
about
economy.
here,
Look at
I
French
did.
economy, my brother. Look at French economy right now. Look at French economy the last 2 years. Are you telling me, is it projecting up? If you're a business person, are you going to take your money to French? To
Well,
Nope.
France? No.
Nope.
Exactly. You're going to go somewhere where the country is doing good and it's projected to go up. You're not gonna take your money to France if you're worth a lot of money. If you're a smart businessman, exactly. I know you won't. Because you're smart. But you come up here try to downplay it as if the French CDF it's like God-given money. Any God-given money, that's gold. Gold is God-given money. That's real money. Gold is God-given money.
Plus,
Facts.
France tax you. How France tax you on your own money? It's a wicked. They're wicked.
Exactly. It's ridiculous, man.
It's very
Don't worry,
ridiculous.
my brother, man. Don't worry,
And
man.
take the
That
majority
time
of your
will come.
reserves too.
That time will come. Where CFA will die. CFA will die. I
Yeah.
guarantee
hey,
that.
Ben, that's what we're
CFA will
praying
die.
for. That's what we want it to happen. That's what we want it to happen. We want CFA
Well,
to
pretty
have
much
people
Yeah.
to get
Bang is
away
just
with CFA for
explaining
them
that
to
Okay.
be
it's a
liberated.
Bang is just
We gotta
explaining
stand
that
with Traore. We gotta stop.
that's it.
We gotta stop listening to the media. We gotta stand with Traore because
Right.
what's going to happen? One of the guys said it earlier on. What would they do to Gaddafi? They, we talking bad about Traore. They're gonna do it and then say, "Yeah, look, he was
And it's so funny that you said it's so funny that you said that, because they attempted that with Michael Langley when he went to the front of Congress and said that Traore was trying to hold all the gold, and then when Traore did that interview in Russia, he said that Burkina Faso never had gold reserves. So how are we controlling the gold? He should just mind his
That's
business.
lies,
And that's when
lies.
everybody went. that's when
But my
everybody
brother,
went and started cooking
you know,
Michael
right?
Langley. And then and then he got
That's
scared and
the
he backed out.
what
But
people,
that's
Traore
what
killed
people.
1,800 citizens. The 1,800. How did they come with that conclusion? Where did they get the resource to research that?
Exactly.
Man.
The downfall of the continent of Africa, right? It started with gold. It started with gold. When these Europeans, right, and these Arabs, right, when they saw these Africans with like tremendous gold and everything, right, then they decided to come and then conquer Africa. The same gold that they conquer us, that's what Mali is using to conquer them. That's what Burkina Faso is using to conquer them. That's what Nigeria is doing as well to conquer them. Because that's the foundation of what real money is. That's God-given money. That's God-given wealth. The same gold. Everybody need to go back and study the history. History, the downfall of Africa, how it started. It started because of gold. Because you know what? Africa was blessed with gold tremendously up to this goddamn day. All to this goddamn day. City, I want you to go to France, right? Go dig some holes. You might find gold in there. Please,
City left, bro.
Yo, Ben, can I say something real quick? Can I say something real quick? Ben, can I say something real quick?
Any person talking about they love America and they're proud of America, it's 1776 and all that kind of stuff, they're hypocrites because Burkina Faso is doing this very same thing and they're speaking against Burkina Faso 1776. I'm done, man. Salute to you, Bang. Salute to the panel. I'm out, bro.
And it's just so funny too. Like in the Bible, it says that there's good gold in Ethiopia. I'm just saying, God don't make mistakes, right? Just saying.
Exactly. It's a proof in the pudding, man. Bang hit it on the water, man. He's talking facts. He's talking facts, and you can't hate on that. You know what I'm saying? I think CD tried to find a pathway between Africa and Europe, and maybe we could come to coming together.
And then another issue is with City is because remember City's older. He's from the older generation, so he's seen what happened in the past, and he keeps equating what happened in the past and the future. He's not understanding, for example, the AES. They have other Pan-Africanists, and they have other lecturers like Franklin Niamsi, Natalie Yam. These are people who study these things, and they learn from those mistakes. You know, and the first thing that they did was they came together. If they didn't come together, it would have been a big issue because again, Sekou Touré, JJ Rawlings, the reason why they had issues and stuff is because they were isolated. And when you're isolated, they can come get you. That's why you see what's happening in Cuba. They're isolated. When you see what happened in Iran, they were isolated. But the thing with Iran is totally different. But with Cuba, for example, they're isolated. Venezuela was also isolated. That's why they could take advantage of you. But if you come together, they can't take advantage of you. And then on top of that, 3 countries can't fall. Imagine 3 countries fall in Africa. That would be, the whole West Africa is gone if 3 countries come together. That's why they're not going to have those 3 countries fall simultaneously.
My brother,
like what you mentioned there, the fact that they came together is one thing. That's important thing. And another thing is that, like you mentioned, wait, just one moment. I just want to mention that again, don't hate you, CD, if you're listening. Listen, a lot of times, a lot of old Africans, and I'm saying this is called my own family, they still like how the system is because they're too. Listen, old people don't change quickly, man. They still want to negotiate a change in some way. They still have this right way of looking at Europe as if it's the only model, and that's the thing. And right now, you look at the world, you look at all these other powers, and now the other people are working together, and how they're working differently. Back then, also, these guys grew up where there was only one superpower back then, the United States. Now there's more superpowers they're leveraging. They also want access. So that's the thing that makes this time a little bit different than before. And the only thing I hope that what the AES can do is that they look and they just don't I don't know if it's say don't choose a side, but it's more like you gotta play your cards well because for example they're buying weapons from Turkey and weapons from China and weapons from Russia. Okay, so they're not just relying on one source. Then they also did a deal with the Iranians before the war, of course, with the Shahed drones. Specifically, they were going to do a deal. They 2 military personnel, they did meet. So my hope is that they specifically they play their cards well, and for the young people, I hope more young people get, because right now they are more excited, but I hope they actually get politically engaged in how this is happening and how they can look at their own country, because that's how at least I see it. Go on.
Anti-moralist, let me add to you too as well. So you were speaking on you said something along the lines of, just piggyback off what you said at the end. I think it's more along the lines of you got to bring in knowledge, not so much of political, but so much you have to have the tangibles to be able to be politically powerful. If the AES had, if it was advanced, let's say like how China is, that's like the go-to example, like these other countries, China, Russia, Europe. But if they was advanced, have control over all the resources their way, and everybody was equal, then it's like, okay, well, if I don't like this deal, if you're not gonna play me like you gave AES, you give Burkina Faso 50% of ownership, then you try to give Nigeria 10% of ownership. So I think it should become more involved in terms of the knowledge. The knowledge is the word really separates it. The political part is just how you play with power.
But at the core of it, what's needed is power, is tangible. What do you have? Do I produce what you need? The producer is always going to be more powerful than the consumer, and that's just how it is. So,
Yeah, of course,
and to
yeah,
add
of course,
that,
100%,
like
100% what you said
specifically,
is right.
hold
100% what
on.
you said is right.
Okay, new voice, new voice. Can I get in?
Yeah, go
yeah.
ahead, go ahead, go ahead, go
All
ahead,
right.
bro.
So Africa's in a unique place. Greetings to everybody. Dynast, greetings to you. Africa's in a unique place because it does have physical gold. 2017, they rated gold back up to tier one. The Basel, whoever these Basel group is in Europe, they set the standards. They change everything. They set all of this stuff. So 2017, it went back up to tier one when it was before 1972 when Nixon created the petro dollar and
Yeah.
that current fiat, right? So
Mhm.
just as of 2017, and you notice since 2017, can somebody mute their mic, please? You notice since 2017, a lot of Eastern European central banks, actually all over, started buying gold, getting gold, retrieving their gold from London and New York, and back into their physical gold. There's such thing as unallocated gold, which is you just kind of have on paper that you have gold, but you don't have the physical gold. With probably London and New York, where they keep the gold, the physical gold. That's Africa could have if they didn't give their physical gold away is as good as is the same as money as the petrodollar. But I think that I'm gonna say this and try to sum up what my thoughts are is there's no way of getting around this. You haven't heard a lot about BRICS. The United States, Trump put a lot of pressure on the BRICS members and said he's going to do X, Y, and Z to the members. If they do this, he's going to do that. So I haven't been hearing a lot about BRICS, and I think that because of that pressure, it has kind of slowed it up. But it's going to take something like BRICS. I think Africa needs to do its own currency first. It needs to
Yeah.
do something itself before even getting in BRICS. But at the end of the day, it's gonna be absurdly revolutionarily resistant, and you got to stand 10 toes down and have a lot of fortitude, testicular fortitude, to move in the way that the simple movement in the right direction is going to be so against the grain. You got to do it. I mean, just the money part, because that's where it seems like the money part of this is where the shit gets real nitty gritty. If
Shy.
you Yeah. So if you can get your money, get your gold together and create a reserve with your gold, and then every country, you create your own currency if it's going to be a fiat currency or if it's just going to be gold standard. And do your thing. You got to do something at some point what you're going to do. Cuz they control you with that money. And you know what, on land, this is my last point. Haiti was the first debt and loan situation that was before IMF. And IMF came out of the ideal of how France did Haiti.
Shy, can I piggyback off what you just said? Are you still talking?
You don't have to ask me, bro. Go ahead.
I know. I just want to make sure you was done talking. So just to piggyback off what you said, yeah, it sounds good, but we got to also understand. So let's get this right. A continent that has more gold like essentially have more gold underneath all over their soil than we know how. If they take control of the gold, obviously they're gonna get pushback from other nations. And then what is going to be hard to get now? To have the people, but it ties right back into getting to the knowledge aspect. And then that's the part that's really holding them back. Like with the knowledge, you will be able to come together. You'll be able to see, okay, I see where we differentiate over here. I do see over here where we're able to be similar. But when it comes down to it, it's the knowledge part. Because how are you going to get these machines? You get the machines, then there's other things. How are you going to maintain the machine? You got to maintain it. You got to teach people how to use it. Who's going to teach them? How long are you going to teach them? Then that's not even the middle part. You got to build a system around it to train more people, new people, and then you got to develop a pay scheme for that as well. And then
So they created their own
I just
system
want to
in Burkina Faso.
I want to piggyback what you were saying. So as far as the training aspect,
mhm.
a lot of people don't know that the AES countries, they just don't have Turkey, China, and also Russia. They also have other EU countries and also other Asian countries that do come in. Like for example, they do have a partnership with India, which they're helping them with IT training and stuff too. So to my brother that was just speaking, they are working on that. But as you know,
I think also with
things take
Bangladesh with
yeah
fertilizer.
things
I
things,
don't know
things
if
take
that's
time, but they are indeed working on it. Whatever. Like for example, they do have local manufacturing, like on the military side. Like they're doing their own ammunitions. They're working on like the small drones, and they're working on explosives. Like just like you saw the deal with Mali and with China.
I got real quick. Did Shah speak yet?
Yeah, he spoke.
What about Michael?
I
Yeah, I
don't think
spoke.
Michael's. Oh, you
Huh?
spoke, right?
Were you looking for me to speak on a particular issue, or were you just asking if I spoke in general?
Now, have you spoken in general?
Yeah.
Cisse, have you spoken yet?
Yeah, I spoke earlier
What about Haiti
before.
Reformation Project? Have you spoken?
Yeah, he spoke too. I think
Okay.
he's on that.
Okay, cool. Man, say after you're done, we're gonna go to close out. But go ahead.
Okay.
Haiti, are you
So
about to close out?
Yeah.
yeah, he's about to close.
Haiti Reformation Projects. Are you're Haitian?
Yeah.
All right. I see it as this. I said you gotta show more patriotism. Only 2% of people from Africa travel to the U.S. and other European countries. Contrary to popular belief, only 2% travel. Right? If only 2% of the entire population is traveling, I say this is the knowledge part that comes in, because most of the people that travel to go to European schools, but they're not learning about Black history, and then they're not learning about, let's say, they're not reading books such as The Colonial System Unveiled, written by Baron de Vasti, actual enslaved, a mulatto mixed breed slave that fought against the dark skins that were trying to free themselves, and they end up joining them. But like having books like this, the knowledge part, that will really create a revolutionary generation, starting and keep going on progressing. And then the knowledge part would come on once the history understand. Once you understand that your enemy and who you up against, then you're able to, let's say, you like a double agent, essentially pull off what the Chinese pulled off. Everybody said the Chinese would bring in knockoffs and copying them, but the Chinese essentially just came in and see what they saw, copied everything, brought it back. They didn't care about what the social was saying. They didn't care about what the world was calling it. You think what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I
but
would.
Look, this
So
is what I'm gonna
I just
say.
wanted to finish what I was
Can I
saying.
say something about that? Because he said something about Haiti specifically, so I got to respond to that. You said
He's
something
about to
about the
close out soon,
knowledge
and
in
then
Haiti.
I'll
Wait,
finish. After.
Mansake.
This is the
He
thing
asked,
about Haiti. Haiti, if you look at the Haitian Revolution, we
I
don't
love
even
it.
write our own history. If you look at the most popular book about the Haitian Revolution, it's written by a Trinidad man. Like the West control,
What book is
they
that?
control the narrative.
No, listen. That's what I didn't get to that point. My bad. That's on me. What I wanted to say to you though was, what I don't know if you're able to talk to other educational structures, but what has anyone ever thought of just making a history textbook? Like you go buy the history textbook from here, you just copy it. That has the textbook template.
They don't control our history in Africa, fam. You
that's what I was
be
trying
fucked
to.
up on that. Sorry.
They got books for that too. They got books for that too. There's another book I recommend called White Malice.
Wait, let
my brother.
speak.
That's what I was trying
Look,
to
the
tell
thing
you
about it
because, like,
is they whitewashed the whole history.
Bro,
They control the white man controlled all the Black history because they whitewashed a lot of history too. So they control the whole history.
But this is what I wanted. This is what I wanted to add. So a lot of people's not going to notice that they do have their own networks, like the AS TV, RTM. But
Shout out Faso 7.
But also the thing is that the problem is in French. But to answer my brother's question about teaching, what they're doing right now in Burkina Faso is that they're going back to the indigenous teachings. So what's happening is that they're teaching inside the native languages and stuff, right? And then teaching about history. The same thing with Mali. With Mali recently, they eradicated all French history. No, French history is no longer taught in school. So that process there, everything they're working on with as far with the local languages and stuff. Because again, you can't learn your own history with another foreign language. You got to learn within your own language. And once you have that, and people continue and they continue with the language, whatever, no one can like interrupt and ruin that. But that's why I wanted to tell that brother.
All right, we're going to close out. Everyone, thank you so much for joining. Like, share, subscribe. Until next time, family, guys, and Mr. Peace.